Everyone? It looks like we are live right now. I see the chat. I see a couple familiar faces going on as well. What is going on, Rachel? How are you? Thank you for joining us today.
Hey man, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I don't know what I did to deserve the honor to be surrounded by so many Northeasterners, but I'm here for it.
Well, I'll take Northeasterners. Normally we get called worse. Um, wait, hold on one second.
New
We
Englanders might be the better term.
we were supposed to have Dave Gettleman on the show. Um,
Oh.
who the hell is this guy?
I'm
Who are
DG.
you? Who
I
are
am
you?
DG. I am DG, otherwise known as Don Gerard DiNapoli. And I am Dave Gettleman on Twitter.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I really expected that to go different. I don't know. You had this elaborate introduction, and it seemingly just did not go as planned. But Don, welcome. This is your coming out party, buddy. So look, I'm even rocking the Dave Gettleman merch today. Um, Man, for so long you've triggered so many people on Twitter, taunted them, tortured them. Even some would say, "What's up, man? This is your coming out party. What do you have to say to everybody?"
Listen, man, I found another community in hashtag Giants Twitter. I met so many cool people through this. I had to keep up with the ruse at times with the Gettleman thing and defend some things he did. But I think the proof is in the pudding with actual Dave Gettleman. It's time for him to go. I'm very, very happy that we're doing some sports stuff together. I couldn't be any more thankful to have Rachel and the MAJ as really our host, because I'm just a clown with the Parody account. Really, my background's in the music business. We're not going to give too many details, but we're working on, MAJ, Rachel, and I are working on a really cool documentary piece next year, kind of highlighting musicians slash rappers who are also professional athletes. So we're going to be looking towards some potential Giants players. There's a couple guys on the team that might also be rapidy rapping sometimes and stuff. And
Well,
I'm excited
let me
about
go
it.
with you, though. You've been telling me. For anybody that doesn't know, I know that we got a couple people in here. I see Big Blue in the Bronx. Um, for those that don't know, I also have another podcast, Clapback Sports, in which I host with Murph and Tino Rodriguez. So, and Dave, you've been telling me for almost a year now that we had to get on YouTube. Murph is a menace to society, so Murph did not
Murph's
want
the
to
man.
participate in YouTube at all. And after a year, you kind of convinced me I was looking for a partner. I said, "Hey, Dave," and I'm gonna keep calling you Dave because
Fine.
even
I'll
though
respond to it.
even though I know your name. But I say, "Hey, Dave, how do you feel about this idea about working together?" And it just started as one thing, and then you really took it to the next level with this whole documentary idea about mixing music and sports. Right, one thing that you're really good at doing, sports, which is something that I've been into. Rachel, who's done stuff for the Houston Texans, even though she's an Atlanta fan as well. Um, Boo Braves. So, uh, but it was really you that took this to the next level. We wanted this to kind of be the coming out party for everybody. So, introduction to yourself and introduction to the show. Let everybody know a little bit about what we got coming up. And guess what, guys? It doesn't stop here. You're not going to listen to just the three of us for the next 2 hours. We got a lineup. It's not even a lineup. This is a superstar lineup. This is superstar worthy. So we got a lot of your favorite Giants YouTube content creators coming up. We got Kid Blue. We got the Hub. We got Pest. We got the Entertainer coming up. We even got Cop Pizzle. I'm not really sure what he does, but yeah, we got Cop Pizzle coming on. And who else do we have confirmed?
I was talking to some guy that missed two kicks in the 2007 NFC Championship game.
Who could that be?
I think his initials are LT.
Lawrence Taylor?
LaDainian Tomlinson?
No, the real LT. Lawrence Tynes will be on
Ah,
today. Lawrence Tynes just kicked the Giants into the Super Bowl. Lawrence Tynes.
Lawrence Tynes will be joining us later as well. And that's going to be interesting because he has a lot of thoughts on Kevin Abrams and what the Giants should do at the next GM. So we'll get to talk to him about that. And we also have the dysfunctional. Dysfunctional? You know what? He's functional. He's a functional menace. Bobby Skinner from Talking Giants also coming on as well.
And we have to talk to Bobby about Rachel. I don't know if you saw, but Bobby Skinner put out a fake press conference with that's Bobby Skinner, and Barstool fell for it and it went viral.
It's fantastic.
Do you want to burn down Chicago Stadium?
No.
And it was just hysterical. And Bobby's been one of the hardest working content creators in all of Giants land. And we've become friends over the past year. Happy to have him on. Steffi Smalls is coming on, highlighting her mercurial rise from 200 followers and talking to Giants to now she's become a major player in the sports and gambling world, in the fantasy community as well. So we'll be talking to her a little bit. Steph is also, like myself, a big music fan. So we're going to talk some music as well. I'm going to ask her about what her favorite songs are of 2021 and all of that. And I'm very excited.
Dave, but you and I can go on for hours probably about ourselves because we're two narcissistic people. But Rachel, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, what you're up to, your experience? I mean, you're living in Houston, covering Houston sports, but that's not where your true love is.
It depends on the sport. I love my Astros. I love the Rockets. But I am very sadly an Atlanta Falcons fan, living here in Houston. I do have to talk about Houston a lot. So I keep up with the team. I root for them a lot. Do a local TV show here on the CW, the Houston affiliate, and then also do a radio show on ESPN 97.5 and ESPN 92.5 on the weekends. So yeah, I definitely got to talk some Texans, unfortunately, but they've been giving us some good content lately. So as long as they keep with the content, I'm here for it.
So give us a little bit more about your background. How did you get into sports? What are you covering currently?
Yeah, absolutely. So funny story how I got into sports. Didn't grow up, with the father or brothers who were really into sports, nothing like that. Didn't really get into sports until I was 18 years old. And I was working at Hooters. I was a bartender at Hooters, like one of my first jobs. And I'm surrounded by TVs all day and people watching sports. And I just started asking questions. And it was really the NFL that I got hooked on initially. And just had watched it so much while I'm working that I just naturally started asking a bunch of questions. The more I understood it, the more and more I fell in love. And I was really good friends with a girl who was a diehard Chargers fan, diehard. And this is whenever they were pretty good. I remember Phillip Rivers, AFC Championship game was going on and she couldn't focus at work at all. So she's kind of the one that actually, her name is Barbara. I'll never forget her. Like, she kind of got me into it, and it just kind of went from there. Ended up going to school for mass communications at the University of Houston, broadcast journalism. Didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, just knew that I wanted it to be involved with sports. Somehow, some way, I want to make money talking about sports for a living. So whether that was radio or TV, went to school there. Then I while I was in college, I interned at the local ESPN affiliate here, and I milked it for all that it was worth, and networked. And now I'm building a career in sports media.
So where could people find you today?
Find me on Twitter for sure, at GameDayOJ, that's OHJ, and also on Instagram at GameDayOJ, just the letters OJ.
No relation, right?
No relation at all. Thank goodness.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Yeah, and I want to shout Murph out too. Murph is on the low, a very solid talent scout. His partner with Clapback, and he said, "Yo, man, check this girl out, bro. Rachel. She looks like mad cool. Like, she just looks like a cool." Because I think they were looking for some people for the podcast, and I started following her, and I'm like, she's very professional, but yet, like, I seen you doing keg stands at the games and dancing around the TI and stuff. So, like, you have that, like, sense of, like, chaos, but at the same time, like, you have it all together. So when we started discussing doing something like this, I was like, I'm just going to shoot the shot and just reach out to her. And we had a great conversation on the phone. And I was feeling so passionate that day. And I know you felt it. Like,
it was
and
translating
I feel,
through the phone for sure.
I felt that, and I felt those waves going through to you, and you were just like, hell yeah, let's do it. So I appreciate you again for taking a shot on us. Again, my career has mostly been comprised of the music industry. I've been in the game for a while now, and I really love the Giants. I don't really like other sports. I want to like the New York Rangers. I want to like the Knicks and the Nets. I want to like the Yankees. I just can't get into it. It doesn't move the dial. But when Giants football comes on, I'm cooking up brunch and Bloody Marys because I live in Brooklyn, so I'm a hipster. And I'm having people over, and they're not watching the game because no one in Brooklyn likes football. But me, I'm glued to the TV. I watch my Giants whether we're 14-2 or 2-14, and that's my team, and I will live and die by them. I grew up in North Jersey in Clifton. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar. It's about 5 miles from Giant Stadium, not that air conditioner called MetLife Stadium. And I'm 42 years old. So if you do the math, in 86, I was 7. In 1990, I was 11. In 2007, I was 28. And in 2011, I was 31. So I've been blessed with 4 championships from this team. So this team has given me so many highs. And over the past 10 years, so many lows. And we're going to talk about a lot of that today. And I'm sure this is going to be similar to those Twitter spaces where everyone's airing their grievances about how terribly run this team is by this guy here or that face that you see at the top right. And I'm all here for it, man, because I'm ready for a new culture. I'm ready for a clean sweep of all of our executive staff and our scouts and our front office. But who knows if that's going to happen.
Hey, Dave, before you finish your dating profile there with your age and location and everything, I just want to shout out some of the people in the chat. So, because I really do, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Soundwell. This is, we'll probably be broadcasting here again. We're blending music and sports. So going forward, when we do these live streams in the future, it'll probably be here. But again, my brother from another mother, Tap Jackson, is here. Fellow YouTuber Big Blue in the Bronx, who we also had on Clapback Sports, Big Giants and Yankees guy as well. And Authentic also popped in too. So Authentic is here as well. And Big Blue in the Bronx says he also lives in Brooklyn and he likes football as well. So I'm not sure if that's a possible match, but
wait, hold on a second. Big Blue in the Bronx lives in Brooklyn. What's going on here? What is this? What is this? What is this wizardry? What is this? He says Big Blue in the Bronx. It shouldn't be Big Blue in Brooklyn. I mean, come on. What's going on over there, kid?
I told you he's a Yankees fan, so he blends the two. All right. Phil Dezato, what's up, Phil? How are you?
Phil Dezato, that's one of my good friends, man. He's actually a football coach. I'd like to have him on later because he was literally showing me X's and O's. Like I was lining up as an edge, and he was blocking me. And he knows more about football than I'm sure almost anybody in here.
Matias, I'm probably butchering this name. Matias or Matias. So he's from Peru, doesn't understand the English language very well, but he is trying to follow along, and he does find the conversation interesting. So thank you, Matias, for joining us as well.
And Adila, shout out to Adila. That's my work wife. She's an amazingly talented songwriter, rapper, singer. We work together on many things. Shout out. Thank you for showing up, Adila. Love you.
Yeah, and let's see what else. Big Blue in the Bronx. He also mentioned that I do Yankees content too. Look, I was gonna text you, Dave, but you got to drop the show, highlight in these comments, or give me co-host access here, man. I know that I know that you're a boomer, so this whole internet stuff is new to you.
Yeah, let me ask Tino.
You got to figure it out, bro. You got to figure it out.
Age shaming him, huh?
I have to. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense here. I'm going through this. Much love. So yeah, we're going through this here. I'm trying to highlight some stuff. The first guest should be coming on any minute now. Is that correct, Dave?
Yes, she is. We're gonna have ladies first. She'll be on in a few. Steffi, back in the day, which is like literally a year ago, man, we were all once again kind of commiserating about how bad the Giants were. I remember namely a Monday Night Football game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who eventually became Super Bowl champions, where Danny just played like not well at all. And we were all on Giants Twitter just like, bro, is this the guy? Like, we've literally like carried the flag for Daniel Jones on Twitter, like as everyone's dragging him. When I picked him number 6 overall, everything was in flames. But Daniel sometimes does not use his noggin, as the legend Big Rob would say. I feel that Daniel has the tools. I think he's got the arm strength. I think that his footwork needs work. His mental processing needs work, but I'm still 50-50 on him, and I've been 50-50 on him since the start of the season, and now he's got an injury. So I don't know where it's going to go with him, MAJ. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do we have our guy? I mean, do we have our guy?
I'm not really sure the question that you asked me. I'm sorry, Dave. I kind of tuned out. Nikki Snacks had trouble trying to get into the stream, so I was helping him out. What's the question? Is Daniel Jones our guy?
Is he the guy, man? Is he the guy?
I know you like to take the scenic route, so see, I didn't miss much. I summed up your question in one sentence. I don't know, to be honest, and I've been one of Daniel Jones' biggest supporters. So I love Daniel Jones, but I understand people being critical of him. He does leave some things to be desired, right? The pocket awareness, making those mental mistakes. But my whole thing is, where is the 2019 Daniel Jones that we saw that made us believe in him? Nikki Snacks, thank you for joining us finally.
There he is.
I almost left Dave's question behind because I was busy helping you. Nikki Snacks was also on Barstool recently, so if you get a chance, check that out. He's just a crazy bastard, that guy. But
well, let's segue into this, MAJ. One of our guests that's ready in the waiting room. She's in the green room right now. She's looking lovely on the side. Has been one of the biggest Daniel Jones supporters ever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Steffi Smalls to the building.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Steph, this is Rachael. You know this guy.
I know Rachael. I'm so excited because it's the first time I get to finally be on with Rachael. I've needed to do something with her forever, so very exciting.
What's up, Steph? Nice to finally meet you.
Yes. What's up, girl?
Not much. Just living the dream over here talking about Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
So, Steph, before we start, I want to tell a little story. We all connected a little bit over a year ago. 200 followers, Steph. Remember 200 followers, Steph?
Yeah.
And we were just being silly on Giants Twitter, trolling everybody, being complete maniacs, almost banned from Twitter,
I'm
during
right there.
COVID.
I got one more Twitter jail sentence and I'm out. I'm like pushing. I don't even know how I still have a Twitter, to be honest.
Because, the reason you have a Twitter is because, you're engaging and you interact with people and, you're a content creator. And so tell us a little bit about how Giants Twitter kind of helped propel you into where you are now and where you're going in the future, because you're doing some things.
It's honestly very cool. It's very unexpected. Most people know I was in med school. Didn't want to move home. Had to move home thanks to COVID. And I was bored as hell, like most of us were during COVID. Re-downloaded Twitter and just started talking about Giants. Shout out to Talking Giants, Bobby and Justin, who do a fantastic job. That they were the guys that kind of got me through. I listened to that podcast. They were constantly talking about Twitter. I'm like, all right, I'll re-download this shit. And I remember there was a lot of rumors that Leonard Fournette, ironically, was supposed to come over to the Giants. I tweeted out, please don't wish that upon us. Probably one of my worst takes ever, because I would have loved to have Leonard Fournette now on the Giants. But that was the one tweet, and kind of from there, just interacting with people. I've met so many people, especially the Giants community, that have supported me from day one. And it's a crazy bunch. Not all of us get along, but we love our Giants. We grew up on them. This is the team that, did give us joy at one point. I think, the MAJ and my boys at Clap Back, they gave me my first appearance ever on a podcast. And then I decided to drop out of med school because fuck it. Let's talk about football every fucking day.
Yeah. Now, Steph, one thing I noticed too, when we originally linked up, somehow or another, we linked together on Spotify. And I just started following you on Spotify, and I'm on Spotify all day. I'm a music guy. I've been in the music industry forever. And I would just see you on there. And I'm like, what is that she's listening to? And every time I clicked what you were listening to that I didn't know,
I'm nervous.
I liked it. No, I liked it. You turned me on to Godford.
Yeah.
Who, hasn't missed on a single since then.
Yes.
So, for 2021, what were some of your favorite songs or albums that came out, or who should we look out for music-wise? Because you got the juice in that category.
Yeah. Honestly, music is one of the things outside of Giants Twitter and starting to dive into writing articles and podcasting and doing that stuff. Music really got me through COVID. Polo G's album, anything that he has dropped lately has just been phenomenal. He's one of my favorite artists. I also do a lot of house stuff, so I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, and Halsey needs to come back out with stuff. I know I talked to you about this. Halsey was my girl. I had that stuff on repeat, especially during COVID, especially this year, but I've been doing more rap. Roddy Ricch gets a lot of crap. I liked his album a little bit more than most people did. Kanye West kind of let me down, but
what? Wait, hold on a second.
Was my guy this year.
I love Donda. Donda, I think, is my favorite album of the year, man.
Yes,
I'm a Kanye
Donda,
stan, though.
Right.
Well, you just said Kanye let you down. Now you say it's good. We'll make up your mind over here. What are you doing over there? Steph, get it together, will you?
Okay, is it my fault that I missed the bleached asshole Kanye? Is it that's how I feel? I just feel that way, all right?
Oh man, he camped out in my Atlanta Falcons stadium for I don't know how long. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that the team is just cursed from now on. It all started there.
Yes, that's so funny. I honestly forgot that. I feel like this year has been so fast, you forget little pieces and then remember and be like, what the fuck? Kanye was staked out there.
Yeah, so bizarre. And how long did it take him to drop Donda? Didn't he keep postponing it and postponing it and postponing it? Yeah, the dude's lost his damn mind.
I touched his hand at Coachella, and to this day, it's probably my favorite thing that's ever happened to me. So
that's fantastic.
How long before you washed your hand, or you haven't washed it since?
Oh, no, I haven't. Sorry, COVID. Don't tell the CDC, but I still don't wash my hands. It's not my fault. Kanye touched them.
Speaking of COVID, I'm quarantining. Got it. Over the weekend. That's right. I got that shit. I got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a badge of honor now?
I was sick as a dog for 24 hours. I had 102 fever, and then I woke up the next day and I was like, "Let's go." I'm at about 75% now. A little snuffy, Steffi, whatever it is. Steffi, snuffy, sniffy. I've been using the eucalyptuses and the peppermints and all that stuff. So, but I'm feeling good. I'm on the COVID list, but I'm about 75%.
When do you think we could activate you off that?
Supposedly that their CDC says in 5 days. So I think I'm off the COVID list on January 3rd.
Nice. So you're gonna be spending New Year's at home.
I will, yeah, and I'm just looking forward to making out with the girl. The second I am done with COVID, I'm just gonna go make out with the first girl I see on the street.
You should make out with
I'm just gonna make out. It doesn't matter if she's 70.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No, I'm making out with her. That's
New Year's is gonna be a little bit quieter than normal. It seems like even here in Michigan, where I've somehow found myself, everyone has COVID at this point. The bars are empty. Very interesting to see how it's. I feel like we're in this it's like deja vu. It's happening all over again.
Ooh, don't say that. Don't put that on us. Don't say that.
Sorry, okay? Listen, I just watched the Nets postpone how many games. I can't. Yeah. It's just happening again.
Yep.
It is, unfortunately.
Here in Houston, everybody has COVID, but they're still going out and partying. The clubs are packed.
Right. Clubs are still open.
Yep.
just know that there's COVID and you should wash your hands. And I'm like,
Definitely.
bro, I touched Kanye's hand in 2016 at Coachella. I can't wash my hand. I don't know how to.
See, what I think is happening, what I hope, I mean, I don't want to get too scientific here, but this latest Omicron variant or mutation has kind of gotten weaker a bit. So this next mutation that COVID takes is very important, because if it mutates into like a Delta type thing, which was like pretty strong, then we're fucked. But if it gets weaker and weaker, it's slowly going to become like common flu, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a scientist, but so this
And I
next
dropped
like
out of med school, so I got nothing for you.
I was about
Yeah,
to
come on.
say, you're the doctor.
Almost there, a little bit more. Every time, you know how you get on phone calls and they're like, all right, what was your highest level of education? I'm like, does half of med school count? They think it's really funny. It's like my new dad joke.
That's freaking awesome that you even made it into med school in the first place, though. I mean, that's pretty badass. But hey, David Gettleman, you need to get it right. It's the Omarion. That's what we're all calling it. Omarion.
Oh,
He's doing his best.
Oh, okay. I was actually calling it the Skeletor. I don't know. I'm silly. I started a Dave Gettleman parody account. How much sillier can I be? You know what I mean?
Remember when it was still like a huge secret? And I remember, I think it was a Clapback guys, and I think you did an appearance on the Entertainers channel that one time, and it was still a big secret, and only some of us knew, and that was fun.
Yeah, I was quite inebriated that evening.
Yeah,
quite
as
inebriated.
most of Giants Twitter is. It's about how you.
Yeah.
That's how you deal with it.
Yeah,
I got to know that. What happens to David Gettleman whenever he's hopefully inevitably fired? What happens to you?
He transforms.
You transform to the next one?
The plan, well, again, we're working on some stuff like this, and then, what we mentioned earlier, which is like some music/sports documentaries type content, mixing professional athletes who also rap. We might know one on the Giants who I'm speaking with their agent. No promises being made here. Just putting it out there, shooting the shot, talking to the agent, trying to whatever. So it'll be a combination of that, and then just the old curmudgeon that's like mad about everything the Giants are doing. Like, that move that they made was no good. I would have drafted this guy, So we'll see what it is. I mean, it'll be fun. We'll see where it transforms.
There's got to be some way that music and the Giants, football in general, all kind of collide together.
Yeah, for sure. So we're working on some things. I'm talking to some people. I might know a couple things here and there.
People.
Talking to a couple people, making some moves, making some emails, texts, phone calls, DMs. Like, you can call. I'm up in the DMs and on the LinkedIn and the Twitter, and it's a big making headway. So, besides the clown I am, I like to come off as professional. I've been self-employed now for 16 years, and I guess I'm doing something right. You
even sent an invite. That's all I asked for, right? You want me to come on your show? All I want is a calendar invite, so it's sitting there and I know it's there. That's it. It's simple.
I literally bombard people. Rachel, how many calendar invites did I send you yesterday? Like 17?
However many guests you have lined up.
Pretty much.
This girl's like, holy fuck my goddamn phone, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Nah, it's okay. It's all good.
I warned her.
I warned my phone for the most part anyways.
Yeah, we know, Rachel. I expect a text back from you immediately.
Sorry, I'm not.
Is your birthday coming up, Rachel, or am I crazy?
Yeah, how the hell did you know?
Because I may or may not. Look at me spoiling things because I had too many drinks, which is not unlike my character. I got a cameo request to make you something for your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That's freaking awesome,
excited. I was like, I need to handle this. Think about it when I'm sober.
Yeah, no, you should do it drunk. That'll be the best.
Oh,
I'll save
I
it
will
forever.
definitely be intoxicated when it happens.
Yes.
When's your birthday?
Yeah, January 11th.
Oh,
that's
I'm gonna
my
write
friend,
that down.
one of my best friend's birthday. That's so funny.
The best day ever.
It is a good day. She rocks. So.
111. Those are solid numbers too, bro.
Yeah,
Numerology.
111.
So you had like a 11111. Oh yeah, numerology. Look at you. Very impressed.
Look at you, David Gettleman.
Oh, who knew?
Who knew?
Who would
knew?
know?
I know. Well, Steph, it was awesome having you. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Best of success. Where can everyone find you on Twitter or Facebook or MySpace or wherever you
Yeah.
populate the interwebs?
You won't find me on Facebook because that's my real last name is hanging out there, and I will not reveal that to you guys. But you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all the whatever it is at Steffi Smalls with 3 L's. And since this is a Giants ordeal, we will tell everyone what the 3 L's are for, and that's Tom Brady's 3 L's, 2 from the Giants and 1 from my classmate Nick Foles. Thank you so much for having me on. I can't wait for this off season. It's going to be chaotic, and whether you're Gettleman or you're not, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming on, and Happy New Year. Stay safe out there. We love you, Steph, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Love you guys.
Bye, Steph.
See ya. Bye. All right. Well, that went well. Steffi Smalls again in the chat. Just real quick, I want to shout everyone else in here. Tap Jackson, who is one of the best people on Giants Twitter. If you're not following him, he is hilarious.
I'll follow him. He's an ass.
Yeah, he actually came over. He probably gave me COVID. We were hanging out here in my apartment a couple weeks ago. No, last week.
Did you
Phil
give him the
Delzado's-
COVID call? Like, you know, because like
No.
it used to be people used to have to call if they found out they got like the clap or something, and they hooked up, you know, last week. Hey, just need to let you know, like you might want to go get tested or something. But now it's the COVID call.
I actually had a negative test before, and then Christmas Eve, I encouraged my family to all get a COVID
The one
test.
thing I'm concerned about though
And
is
they didn't.
you glanced right. You went right by the first part of that question. So I'm starting to believe that you did have to make some of those calls. Like, hey, sorry, I know we hooked up last week. I think you should get tested.
Anyway.
I plead the fifth.
Anyway, I would like to welcome our next guest
Still
into
not
the
answering.
building.
Look at that. Hey, Dave, I got to tell you this online because you're not following the chat or anything. I need you to respond to me, bro.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Read the private chat or read your text messages. I need help here, bro. All right. There's people saying that they didn't get the link to join. So,
Well, our next guests are ready to go. So, in
All right.
that vein, we shall add them on. These are some young boys, man, on Giants YouTube that are consistently making content. They were hosting weekly podcasts on YouTube called Young Guns. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hub and Kid Blue.
What's up, man? How y'all doing? Y'all can hear me fine?
What's up, fellas?
Well, first of all, yo, shout out to DG. I literally discovered yesterday who he was in person, and I was like, oh my God, I know this man's like, I'm not going to say what his personal accounts, but I was like, oh, I recognize that name because like being him conversed in my comment section a couple years ago. Shout out to the MAJ or the MAJ. I still don't know which one's the correct pronunciation.
MAJ, everybody gets
but we actually met at FanFest, and this dude is huge. This dude is like bigger than I expected him to be in real life, and I was like, yo, he could crush me, which is saying something because I'm like 6'2" and like 230, and I was like, nah, this dude's big. Shout out to Rachel. I literally just saw the follow request just now on Twitter, follow back, so that's always nice. And of course, what up, KB? How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah,
what's going on, guys? The Hub, I know that we were trying to work together. We were trying to do something. I'm not on YouTube, so this is maybe the start of something beautiful.
Hopefully.
You're on it now.
Kid Blue, the only thing that I know about you is a meme that DG made. That's it. It was like a 2-second clip of you screaming.
Is it from Jabril Peppers?
No, I think it was when Saquon fumbled. Somebody fumbled the ball at the end of the game, and I started screaming. And it was one of our streams. I think it was when Wayne Gallman fumbled at the end of that game. I think it was Wayne Gallman.
Oh, yo, that was the Dallas game, right? That man fumbled and recovered it with his crotch.
I don't know. Too many fumbles, man. It makes my head explode.
It was the Saints game, KB.
Saints
it was
game.
the
Okay,
Saints game at the end where Saquon almost fumbled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Screamed. You and Hub were streaming, and I somehow saw it, and I was like, "Yo, that's hilarious!" And I had to clip it, and I started using it.
Yeah, I remember She Got Sports also. I think also clipped the same exact clip as well, and yeah, that was just a natural
Yeah,
reaction.
stole it from me.
That might be one of my favorites. I'm just not sure if it beats Pizzle's. Why can't they just leave us alone?
Oh, that was his Eagles, right? The Eagles thing, I think.
Pizzle is a cartoon character in real life.
Oh yeah,
And shout out to Authentic in the chat as well. And I see a lot of people that I know in here,
honestly,
man.
I would love
Big
to
Loon the
highlight
Bronx.
some of these if my host would make me a co-host. Or if
I'm working on it. Calm down over there, Patty. Right. Patty Impatience.
Patty Patience. Patty, just do something, will you, DG?
All right, I gotta give you my Google. I got you, man. Give me 2 seconds.
So while you doing that, I'll fill this in with a funny story. So right before I came here, you see I still got my jacket on, I still got my keys in my hand, right? I was watching Spider-Man for the 6th time. I owe my mom, and I told my mom, hey, like around 8:30, I gotta dip out. The movie theater is only like 3 blocks away, so don't like have any thoughts of like, oh, I left my mom alone. Nah, it's like 3 blocks away. But I was like, yo, I gotta dip out at like around 8:30. I got this thing. I'll be on for like 10 minutes, and I'll be back to get you, right? And like, I have no idea how much longer that movie has, and I'm kind of scared for her. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a dedication of the Young Guns right here, guys. We're showing full support here. Full support.
Wait, so you literally left your mom in the movie theater to come do this?
Yeah.
It sounds worse than it actually is.
It sounds way worse than it. It's like 3 blocks away, man. It's like not that far.
The dedication, though, too. I mean, like you could have took the call in your car or something from the.
You know, I was considering it. I was like, I could take the call on my phone in like the movie theater bathroom, but I was like, I would be wasting this beautiful mic that my friends got me, that Authentic helped me to set up and everything, man. I haven't even gotten a chance to use it as much as I want to because the holidays came right around, and I was so busy with all that stuff.
Well, you sound great on it. So.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
DG, thanks for putting the Twitter in there. Kid Blue as well. What's your Twitter handle?
Twitter, I believe, is just Kid Blue RB27. Same thing as my YouTube, I believe. Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you, KB. I'm gonna put you in there right now, my brother.
Yes,
there
sir.
We go. Okay, we got them in there now. And MAJ, you should be good to log in, I think.
Log in. I don't see anything, so
check your text.
So I know who DG is. I know who MAJ is. Rachel, what about you? Are you I briefly got to look at your Twitter profile. Houston. So are you based in Houston then?
I'm based in Houston. I live here in Houston. So, I just networking, came across Mr. David Gettleman, formed a friendship, decided to work together on some stuff. So I'm kind of the odd man out on this one. I don't live in New York. I'm not,
you're a Falcons fan.
Sadly, oh Lord, yeah, it's a sad life. Like I hear all these Giants fans complaining about how bad it is and everything, and I'm like, you guys don't know pain. You do not know pain.
The Falcons were in the playoffs just like 4 years ago or something. We were in the playoffs like 10 years ago.
Come on, man. That's kind of like their worst/best memory they've had. Come on.
I know. No. 5 years ago was their worst memory. But 4 years ago, they were still in the playoffs. What was that? A wild card round or second round exit against the Eagles, I think?
Yeah, probably. Was that still the Mike's? Or are we talking about the Mike Smith era or the Dan Quinn?
The same year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, you guys were in the playoffs. That's right after 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They got in the next year and choked it all away, lost to Nick Foles. So that's always a great memory. But no, nothing will ever hurt like Super Bowl 51 right here in Houston, Texas.
The memes are
28
still...
to 3.
Oh yeah, it was in Houston.
It was in Houston.
So you potentially had a chance to go, and it's like, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I've never only cried over a sporting event once, and I swear to God, like 3 tears. Just I was trying to hold it back, but it came out. It was really, really bad. And every March 28th of every year, I get multiple text messages of happy 28 to 3 day, Rachel. Happy, I'm getting trolled by people nonstop it'll never end. It will never end. It's forever.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't think I ever met a Falcons fan, but I feel so bad. I feel so bad because I'm not gonna lie. I use those memes as well, and it's still funny. But like, I feel bad that I don't know. That's just
there was just so much. It was almost like divine intervention with the 28-3 thing, because it also came in that era of like memeing sports of the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. It literally happened the same sports year, and 28 plus 3 is 31, so 3-1. So it was just too much, man. You can't blame people for taking advantage of like a silver platter of an opportunity, in my opinion.
And it hasn't stopped either. Like with the Falcons, just hasn't stopped. Like remember, like last year as well with choking all those games at the beginning of the year. Like
they had a terrible
the
defense.
onside kick game.
Yeah. It's crazy because the kicker for the Falcons, what's his name? Young Wei Koo. Yeah, he had converted like the
That's
most
my boy just because of his name.
I know, right? Don't ever trust a young ho.
Isn't he actually like a good kicker though?
Yeah, he's really good.
He's a good kicker.
Really
good.
Now.
Yeah. No, that's no. Like first I was like, yo, I like really that good. Name, and then I was like, oh, you're actually good at your job.
But let her continue her story, man.
Yeah, no, it's just that they were known for. He was known for converting onside kicks. They had done a couple with him over like the previous year and then that year, but being on the other side of it, it's like nobody knew what to do.
I think you had like Hayden Hurst there just staring at the ball, just like, what do I do with this? Was it past the 10-yard marker? I don't know. They're just staring at it. I was rooting for you guys so hard because you guys know obviously as Giants fans we hate the Cowboys. So I mean, seeing that, I mean, it just I think that made me want to cry. I think it made me wanna cry.
At this point, it's just you start to expect to choke away any lead. You just. It's just a given. Like if anything nice were to ever happen to us, we wouldn't know how to handle it. Like we don't know nice things. We don't have nice things. Like it's just the Falcons choke, blow leads, whatever.
Hey,
whole
man,
team's about to get blown
at least you guys are in a position to win.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time the Giants were in a position to win any game.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah.
That's pain.
Y'all have a lot of talent on your team. Y'all have injuries are a problem. Then you have coaching
injuries
are
everybody's the problem.
You just said it right. Like it's
the problem.
It's just a combination of so many problems that it's like that's true pain, man. You got injuries. You said you got coaching. You got players checking out. In my opinion, so you got John Mara doing John Mara things. You got a whole bunch of things, man.
Let me kind of ask you both this question. So being on Giants Twitter, what's up, Eli Rax?
Shout out to Eli. That's my co-host on One of the Spaces.
What's up, Eli?
What should the Giants do with Joe Judge? Let's go to Hub, and then we'll go to Kid next.
What should the Giants do is different from what I would do, right? Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really do think, like, everybody needs to go, man. I'm sorry. I want everybody to be gone. And we've never truly had... I don't think we've ever truly had a clean sweep. Did we? Maybe 2017, I guess. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2017. Did we have a clean sweep?
No,
but
no,
I'm saying
never clean sweep.
No. Yeah, so I'm like, it's not going to happen, but that's why it's something that they should do from coaching staff to front office. And when I say front office, I mean, please, for the love of God, actually change who's in the scouting department. Please, for the love of God, definitely change whoever's on the medical staff because it's got to be one of the worst in the NFL over the past couple of years. It's just like I want a legitimate clean sweep. I would love to God if somehow we get the rumored names that are out there like Ed Dodge, John Dorsey. I don't know how realistic it is, but obviously part of the reason we like them is they're successful. But the other part, which I think is equally important at this point, is, they're not associated with the Giants in any way that we could, discern right now. That's what I think they should do. I don't know if they're going to do it, though.
Right. What about you, Kid Blue?
For the majority of the season, I've been riding the fence. I really didn't know what I wanted because honestly, I didn't feel like there would be any sort of good to come out of it, no matter what, because it's just this franchise. But for most of the time, I was kind of like, Dave Gettleman. Although I would support Dave Gettleman, I was like a Dave Gettleman apologist. Me and the Hub were for a while. And
Daniel Jones, and I will say.
We took all the flack for all those years.
I'm still kind of riding on the fence with the coaching staff. That's why I answered with what the Giants would do, right? But go ahead, KB. I don't mean to interrupt you, man. There's like a whole tangent I could go on with this.
Like I said, for the longest time, I was riding the fence of, possibly just keeping the coaching staff and letting go of Dave Gettleman. Although I could still defend Dave Gettleman in certain ways, I can't do it anymore. I want a whole clean sweep of everything. I don't I don't want to have this whole thing where we're keeping GMs or keeping coaches and then kind of doing everything backwards like that. I mean, we've done that for plenty of years. We haven't had just a clean slate of things in a while. And I just want to see what it would be like to do that again. I like Joe Judge. I really do like him. I don't think this is the right time and place for Joe Judge, especially with this franchise, because, you know, in a New York sports media, we are not patient. Okay. This franchise is not patient. The ownership is not patient at all. The Mayer family, the Tisch family, they really don't want to rebuild. You guys saw in 2018, they try to win while rebuilding. They don't want any of that. Everybody's impatient. Joe Judge is a new head coach, never has been a head coach on any level before. Okay. So this is all new to him. And although he's had great leaders that he's followed, like Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, he needs time to adjust and become a good head coach because he has all the tools, right? He's a leader of men. He knows how to talk, right? He knows how to talk to his players. He knows how to talk to, to the media and to the press, all of that. But, you know, he has a lot of stupid mistakes, you know, emotional challenge flags and unnecessary timeouts and not calling timeouts.
KB, is your headset working?
Why?
He's good.
Damn. That joke flew right over everybody's head. MAJ got it.
I am so sorry.
Bro, the headset wasn't working all the way until week 8. Joe Judge's headset. Remember that fiasco?
Yes, exactly. And on top of that, just blaming stuff on the headset. And you're right, man. That went right over.
He was right about the headset, though.
That makes it more embarrassing. You say that as if that actually backs him up, though. You know like, why you wait 8 weeks to report a problem?
Yeah,
apparently he reported it earlier. It was just a matter of the NFL not really doing much with it. So they've been reporting it to the NFL, but I'm gonna side with Kid Blue here, man.
But I'll tell you this though, man. You telling me as the head coach of one of the richest franchises, not only in the NFL in the world, you can't be like, yo, Mary, can you buy me some other headsets, bro? Well, like, can you get me some other equipment?
The way that they made it seem, and then what came out afterwards was that it was an NFL issue, not a Giants issue.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like.
I see where you're coming from, and I'm not necessarily arguing with you. I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily make him and his situation seem better. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I get that. And Murph and I, Clapback Sports, hosted a Twitter space the other day. And look, I talked about this. I want to retain Joe Judge at least for one more year. So I'm siding with Kid Blue on this. I think the hardest thing to find is a good head coach. Now, I think that he's a really good leader. And that's something really hard to find. When you look around the league, you look at Urban Meyer, you look at guys like Ben McAdoo that the Giants had. I mean, he was talking to players about Frazier, the sex crazed lion. Like, you just don't do that. Like, Joe Judge has really been able to keep this team intact. And the one thing that they preached was culture change. I think that's what Joe Judge brought. But now I'm being a bit of a conspiracy theorist here, and my boy, Mr. Chris 172, who I talked to about this, they forced Jason Garrett on him, man. He had the authority to fire Colombo last year, but he didn't have the authority to fire Jason Garrett. Like, this front office is so dysfunctional. You cannot force people. They forced Eli on Pat Shurmur and Dave Gettleman. Then he ended up drafting Saquon Barkley, and then you force the OC on Joe Judge. You just can't do that. And bit of a conspiracy out there. I believe that, Mr. Chris said this, but Joe Judge, this is all by design to get rid of the whole front office, to kind of highlight all these things that aren't working. So this year being a tank job, I mean, it's hard to not think otherwise, but this franchise is so dysfunctional right now. You got scouts coming out talking about who's in charge, who's not in charge, Dave Gettleman overriding other people's opinions. And that's another thing. Joe Judge has 3 offensive line coaches. The only person that we heard that had any confidence in this offensive line heading into this year was Dave Gettleman. So maybe Joe Judge wasn't so confident about the offensive line. That's why he brought in so many people to work with it. Why is it that we have no issues with the defense? Because the defense seemingly works. Why do we have 18 freaking offensive play callers or, run game coordinators, pass game coordinators on offense? Because he didn't trust Jason Garrett. I'm willing to give Joe Judge one more year. Yes, some of his in-game management hasn't been good. Gotta stop with I'm going for it on 4th down. No, I'm not. And then trotting out the punt, like stuff like that burns my ass. And I get why fans are upset with him, but I'm all for keeping him one more year.
So here's the thing. I agree with a lot of things you're saying because my answer was what I think the Giants should do, right? I'm like I was telling with KB earlier, I'm still very much on the fence with Judge. I see a lot of things, and there goes my mom. Give me a second. Yo,
She's
KB,
pissed.
you go ahead, bro.
She's pissed. But I guess I'll add to what he's saying. I guess I kind of like finish off my thought there. I really like Joe Judge. I really do. Like I said before, this may not be the time and place for a brand new head coach like this because he has to have time to adapt and learn. And whether we like it or not, whether you guys want him to stay or not, it seems like he's coming back. So we have no choice but to see what he has as a third-year head coach and see if he's matured a little bit more. And try to get that team to play and win games together, man. Because you could see it out there. They're not giving zero effort like we saw in 2017 where they're like literally trying to get Ben McAdoo gone, right? They're playing for Joe Judge. They're just not executing. I think that's just the biggest problem with this New York Giants team. If you look at this team on paper before the season even started, you look at this team on paper, it's not bad. It's really not a terrible roster. Just the execution is just not there. And
so,
unfortunately that lands on Joe Judge too.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the execution, is the execution so bad because there's so many people coaching the same players?
It could be. It could be a mixture. Maybe not, all the coaches are on the same page on things. It could be, lost in different teachings and translations. But I mean, that says a lot. If you have to have so many coaches for one side of the football and not the other, and that shows a lot. And that shows you're pretty much desperate to try to make anything work on that side of the ball. I don't know what the Giants should do. I want to keep Joe Judge, but at the same time, I want to rebuild. I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Now here's another thing as well, because you want to try and be as objective as possible when looking at this entire situation. I feel like we've all at some point said it's not just one problem. Just like when Jason Garrett was fired, I think any smart Giants fan knew that wasn't really going to do much to quote unquote fix the offense. You're getting rid of the offensive coordinator halfway through the year, and since he's been gone, it's been worse production-wise, but there's more factors in there as well, more injuries. But another thing, you mentioned the defense, MAJ. That's something I've been harping about for the past couple of weeks as well. I'm like, yeah, we have a great defense now, but people love to say, if Joe Judge is gone, we have to keep Patrick Graham. I'm like, I'm not necessarily with that. For one thing, Patrick Graham is the assistant head coach. A lot of people forget that. So if you're going to put a lot of blame on Joe Judge, some of it also has to go on the guy that's the assistant head coach. He wears that hat as well. 1 and 2, this is the second year in a row that it took at least a month into the season before the defense got good. I think it was around the Rams game last year where our defense started to hit its stride. And this year it was even worse. It took 7 weeks. It wasn't until Carolina that we had a good defense. Everybody remembers those first 6 or 7 weeks of the season, we all wanted Patrick Graham gone because the defense was trash. So there's blame to go all around, just highlighting that defense part you were talking about. And also, the many hats that Graham wears. And then it's like, oh man, I was gonna go somewhere else with this as well, with the Patrick Graham thing. But that's just another point I want to highlight as I try to regain my train of thought.
Rock Roach just said, you got Kevin Abrams on your stream. Who's Kevin Abrams? I'm DG, brah. I'm DG.
Speaking of Kevin Abrams, if we do keep Judge
so far, do we have anybody in the waiting room?
We're doing good, man.
Okay,
I'm talking right now to two-time Super Bowl winning kicker Lawrence Tynes. He's ready to go at 9.
Oh, really?
And our next guest, yes, sir.
Oh my God, okay. Lawrence Tynes is following us.
Feel free to kick me off at any time for that, man. All right, I'll say that. Lawrence, please give me a follow back, my boy.
Shout out to LT in the building. What's going on?
I know you know Vibes, bro. Vibes is my boy. Let me stop. Anyway, I was gonna go. Speaking of Kevin Abrams, if we keep Judge, a lot of people's not gonna like this, but because I want a clean start so far, so badly, if we keep Judge, I wouldn't be like, I would want Kevin Abrams to be the quote unquote acting GM. I don't want a new GM to come here and then have a head coach in place already. Whenever there's a new GM, like a legit new GM here, I want him to hire whoever he hires. If that makes sense.
Look, personally, I don't think Kevin Abrams wants the job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Some people are very good at doing one particular task, Kevin Abrams worked for the NFL offices, and I believe it was doing something regarding the salary cap. And he's
a
been
cap
in
guy,
the field for such a long time. I think he's so good at what he does. I know people will say, "Oh, well, Giants have no money going into next year." Don't manage it. I think Kevin Abrams, if he wants a job forever, stay in your role. Stay with what you're doing. You take over the GM job, the clock starts the minute that you agree. So I personally, I don't think that Kevin Abrams even wants the job. If the Giants are going to look at somebody internal as possibly a one-year unit, Kyle O'Brien came over from the Detroit Lions, has ties to the New England Patriots, worked with Joe Judge. They made him, I think it was executive director of college scouting or something like that. They literally created a position for him.
Who's that?
I'm going to mute him really quick. Craig from New York Giants Rush was a little bit late, but we're going to welcome him into this chat for the next few. Craig, you there, my brother?
Yeah, man. I've been in the waiting room for 20 minutes, man.
I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I didn't see you, man. My apologies,
20 minutes. DG, we can't get you out of here fast enough.
Well, I wasn't planning on producing this show. Our producer is actually on the COVID list, so I suddenly had to learn StreamYard in 24 hours and figure this out. And I didn't realize if you scroll down, my poor guy Craig was waiting underneath everybody, and I just saw you now, Craig.
Story of my life, man. Story of my life.
What's up, Craig? Though,
how is everybody? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy.
I hear you guys chopping it up pretty good today.
Yeah, so we were just going over Joe Judge, talking a little bit about that. We had a couple of different topics for all our guests, but let's get your opinion on the GM search, Craig. Where should the Giants go?
Yeah, it's a really tricky situation. You guys have been kind of hashing it out pretty good, because you do want GM coach continuity without a doubt. And you're faced with a couple things. Guess what? We don't have a choice, right? We have no influence. So I kind of put my ducks in a different type of order. I'm almost at the point where, okay, whoever the GM is, they're going to bring in players, whether we like them or not. But I really want a slick offensive nerd for an offensive coordinator. So whatever the GM does do, because again, I want a young GM who's, 45 years old, who's got great relationships in the NFL, and that people are going to want to come play for. But with that said, I don't know how much that's going to happen with, the dinosaurs that we have that run and own the team. So I'm kind of putting myself into a new bucket, honestly. I want a slick offensive nerd as an offensive coordinator. So when he sees these players come in, he's like, I got it. This is what we're going to do. This is going to be the scheme. And I want that hot dog. You know what I mean? I want that guy because yeah, of course I want a young GM, but if it doesn't happen, I don't want to be disappointed, right? Because a lot of times we're disappointed. I think we'd all agree with the way the season's unfolded. We've been nothing but disappointed, right? So at this point, I'm like, all right, well then find me some slick offensive nerd who does nothing but scheme this stuff up. Because whoever they do bring in and whatever players sign, he's got to be able to actually know how to score points. Because at the end of the day, regardless of the players that we have, B-level, C-level players, we can't do anything. We are ranked last in everything we do. I'm sure Alabama could come in here and beat us. Okay?
I would put money on that, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, so with that said is bring me somebody who's look, I get this. I'm pulling guards. I'm running screens. I'm not going to be, I'm going to run, out and up stop routes, whatever it takes. I'm going to run heavy packages and overload, whatever it takes. I'm at this point, and I'd love to be able to say, hey, I've got this great philosophy on GM. I mean, look, Judge is coming back. So we hope that whoever comes in as the GM, it's Judge friendly, right? We want them working together, not against each other, right? Mm-hmm. But whoever they do bring in, just for the love of God, bring me somebody that knows how to score points. We've got on paper, I think you guys would agree, on paper, they don't play the game on paper, but on paper, you're like, wow, look at all these offensive weapons. They're zeros, every single one of them. Rudolph's is 0. Shepard's is 0. Galladay's is 0. Tony's is 0. They're zeros, man. So find somebody that knows how to use the talent that's in the building.
So I heard you describe what you want in a GM. By the way, real quickly, I mean Nicky Snacks made me laugh my ass off, so I have to repeat this. He said, "Dave, you couldn't learn how to draft in 4 years, but learn StreamYard in a day."
I love that kid, man.
And in true Snacks form, anybody could have helped him out with StreamYard, but you know how Dave does. He's got to learn it himself, and that may take 4 years.
So,
Well, listen,
Craig, you mentioned what you want in GM. Do you have any candidates?
Yeah. So I'm going to throw a couple dark horses in here. You guys probably aren't familiar with. There's two cats at the Minnesota Vikings I really like. They have been player personnel for 15 years with the Vikings. I like what they do. They're young guys, and they're primed for an opportunity. Like, they've got great relationships in the NFL. They see talent. They don't hit the panic button every 5 seconds. And their names escape me right now, but I've read so much about these two guys, and they're like best friends. And one's been with the team for 15 years, one's been with the team for 9 years, and they carry the same title. And I think they're between the ages of like 42 and 45. I think that those are the kind of cats you want. All these guys that are retreads, I just think we're asking for more of the same. Like Dorsey and what do you call it from the Browns? Why am I drawing a blank? Was it Pioli? I want, somebody who's just a younger guy that's going to do things a little bit different, So again, the two guys from Minnesota stick out for me.
Somebody mentioned the guy from the Cowboys. I don't think they'll let him get away. What was his name? McCray?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see him going anywhere. But even again, you got the quarterback coach for Kansas City, may be a play. I just did a piece on Rush about it like 2 days ago. The quarterback coach, assistant offensive coordinator for Kansas City, another young guy who's, again, an offensive guy, so names, again, are tough because I don't pay attention to them until they really smack me in the face as candidates. You know what I mean? If they're not candidates, I don't get too crazy about these guys, but I am looking for somebody who just is adaptable. I mean, right now we've got so many old school guys that can't change. We just keep getting the same thing in a new dish.
Hey, Craig, I hate to interrupt you, but we're going to have to bid adieu to KB and Hub. Craig, we're going to keep you on for a little bit. Guys, shout out your Twitters or your YouTube pages. You guys both make great content, and I love for everyone watching not only live, but in subsequent video views to check you guys out.
You go first, KB.
Go, Coach, man. You go first. Go ahead.
All right, we gonna do this. All right, sure, bro. Yeah, that's why you're short, man. You can find me on the Hub on YouTube, the Hub_YT on Twitter and Instagram. I'm recently restarting. I'm trying to reboot, I guess you could say, my Twitch, which is just gonna be gaming, not anything Giants related. And like I said, it's been a minute. Do not highlight Donnie's comment. Do not do it. I made that mistake before. Do not highlight Donnie's comment. Just a word for the wise, whoever's handling the highlighting of comments. All right. But yeah, no. Like I said before, it's been a struggle making visits past month just because of finals. I'm in my final year of college. It was a combination of that and, holidays, but I'm going to get right back to it. Draft season is coming up, my favorite part of the NFL year. That's where I do my best work as well, so make sure you guys check that out.
Awesome, man. Thank you again for coming on, brother. I'm a big fan of your content. And I just want to shout out how you let the youths, you have kids coming on that are, 10 years old. Big shout out to Benny and who's the other young redhead boy? What's his name?
Benny, Nate,
Logan,
kids, man. Joseph's a football player as well. I hope that man Joseph looks like he has a bright future. Yeah. He has great highlights as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, they're great, man. And I appreciate you taking the time to give them a platform, man. And it really stood out to me how you do that. So thank you for that, man. And KB, brother, where can we find you?
So on YouTube and Twitter is pretty much the platforms that I'm on. Kid Blue RB27. Haven't been too consistent with the the content as of late, just because of the holiday season. I work for the post office, so things get crazy. But you know, around this time is when I start to restart, and then draft season's coming up. So going to be heavy on the draft content, with not only just Giants content, but NFL content in general. But yeah, that's where you guys can find me, Kid Blue RB27.
Awesome,
guys,
fellas. Well, have a safe New Year's. Don't catch the COVID, and we'll talk to you guys soon, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, we have, and we're going to keep Craig on as well, because he's a great voice, and he's a prominent Giants Twitter person. But we have 3 gentlemen waiting in the background who I'm very, very excited. A fan of them all. Probably the 2, no offense, clapback and all the stuff that you guys try and do, but the 2 goats of Giants content creation, Bobby Skinner and Entertainer, are in the building.
Craig, there's your face.
What's going on, guys? On my phone. And the minute I put the video on.
What's going on?
Somebody's got echo.
I got a crazy echo right now.
I got an echo too. What's going on here?
You guys hear an echo?
Not when you talk.
Do.
Yeah, there's a big echo.
Somebody. It's probably Bobby.
No, I got my mic plugged in.
Hold on 1 second.
Is it better now? No.
Somebody call IT.
Who doesn't have headphones plugged in?
How about now?
That might sound. That sounds
Yeah,
better.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Still a little bit of an echo.
I can almost guarantee it's Craig.
What's that?
What's that?
We got to kick every person out and see if it goes away.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Bobby, mute your mic real quick. Bobby left. It wasn't Bobby. It's probably Craig.
It's probably me. Let me. I don't know why. I just got these headphones. Hold on 1 second.
No, but it's weird. Going, but we are. Hello? Yeah. I think it's you, Chris.
Chris dragging the show down.
See? Yeah, we found it.
Same?
Was Chris, Bobby.
Still, you got it again?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. This happened to me like a week ago too, but I bought headphones and I figured that would solve it.
Come on, man. Spend some money.
Never used
I don't know, man. Let me try.
You wearing the Knicks Giants crossover sweater?
This is Giant sweater.
Actually, I hear Chris pretty good.
Is it red? I'm colorblind.
Let me take these out and see.
Yeah, no more echoing.
No more echo.
No more echo.
No more echo.
Do you have it pulled up on your YouTube?
Don't worry about it. We could just we could read your lips.
Sign language.
That's why now you're gonna hear the echo, right? Because I was muted.
No,
you're good.
echo.
So it was the headphones? I don't know what's going on. But either way, I'm sorry for that, guys. Thank you guys for having me on. 2 great guys. Excited you guys are starting a channel.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Dave, what do I call you now? Now the echo's back.
Echo's back.
I don't know what's going on.
If you're not talking, I guess just mute yourself.
Okay.
That'd be perfect. There yep, perfect.
So what are we calling you now?
Kevin Abrams.
I guess you're muted too, Dave.
Man,
this is really going off the rails. Ever since you guys come on, that's it.
I think I would have to call him Kevin Abrams now, right? Change his handle.
Rachel,
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm here.
There we go.
Nothing to be sorry about.
Yeah, you all need to breathe, man. Ready?
Well, you missed it. You missed it
breath.
earlier because we were talking about DG actually learning StreamYard in 24 hours, and Snack said he didn't learn how to draft in 4 years, but he learned StreamYard in a day. So
I don't know if I learned it, but we have a special guest in the wings that I don't want to keep him waiting any longer. He missed really big kicks in the Green Bay game, but he kind of redeemed himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2-time Super Bowl champion Lawrence Tynes. What's up, Lawrence?
Oh, look at that.
I thought you were going to pull on Algic Rosa. You're talking about
What?
missing in Green Bay.
Did you post my misses, you fuck?
Hey, listen, man.
Wait, you
What's
told me,
happening, man?
You told me
You
we
guys
were getting
digging this
LT.
hat?
Yes, I love it. Make the New York Giants great again.
Oh,
Just got
thank
them
you.
in. They're fucking amazing. You thought it was Trump? No.
You told me we were getting LT. I thought you meant Lawrence Taylor.
This is the real LT.
There's a lot of words on that hat, Lawrence.
I know way too many. I couldn't do it. It's not bad though. It's not
I mean, someone's going to have to be up in your grill to actually read that thing.
Well, they can't get too close. I may
Well,
give one to John Mara.
Oh yeah.
We got 7 people on the chat though, so otherwise the screen would be bigger.
I just want to make sure. Do you guys hear the echo still or no?
No.
Okay,
No.
I put echo cancellation like Authentic said in the chat, so that must have been it. So
And you said 9 o'clock. I got on at 10. What's 10 minutes after?
I know, Lawrence.
ship
I
went off
know.
the rails.
We're. You want to
You know,
hear?
I played for
I'm actually
Coughlin, so I'm
COVIDed.
early. Everything's early.
Well, I am COVIDed right now. I tested positive for COVID, and our
wow.
original producer, family all tested positive for COVID. So I had to learn StreamYard in about 24 hours. So I'm just winging it right now, man.
Okay.
I've never even seen this before.
So you're
So
doing a good job.
So we
Thank you,
use for our podcast. We use God, what's the name of it? Dang it.
Riverside.
No, we. Hold on, I'll tell you. It is called.
Jake told me too what you were using too. I can't remember what he said.
Hold on. I forget.
someone just said Lawrence Tynes looks like Forrest Gump.
You do look like Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
with that shirt and with
baby.
the hat.
Run,
Right, you want
Forrest,
me to-
run.
Should I go all the way up like Forrest?
He's a special teams guy, so it makes sense.
So it should be
So
kick,
guys,
kick Forrest.
MAJ
kick.
is supposed to host this, so let me round about on here. Bobby Skinner, man, you and I connected really early on this account. You were one of the first people to believe in the Dave Gettleman parody account, and you stood by it. You retweeted me, and we've since then become, somewhat acquaintances. I'd like to meet
We're
you in
buddies.
person. Maybe we'll be friends. Yeah, no, I'd say we're friends. But man, like your mercurial rise from Simple Man Radio into making Talking Giants like a household name within the Giants space, man. Like, how has that been for you, my brother?
It's been good. It's because I ask hard-hitting questions like, "Do you want to piss and burn down Soldier Field?" I don't know, man. It's just been fun. It's working hard and having fun with it. And when the team is this bad, they force us to do stuff like that. Like if they just fired Gelman on Monday, we wouldn't be trying to burn down the internet right now. But because they still and making us watch the Bears and do a Bears preview without anyone being fired, they force us to just go insane for the last month of the season.
Hold on. I'm really confused right now. Who is the Dave Gettleman Twitter handle?
Top left.
You are unbelievable.
Why?
I
You
just-
think I was some?
It's amazing the way you phrase those words on Twitter. I just can't imagine how many backspaces putting in the laters, backspaces. Like how many times do you have to, or does your phone just automatically spell stuff like that?
Oh, that's got to be annoying. The auto spell now.
Oh, it has
Well,
to
I don't
be
do
nuts.
auto. I don't do auto on the phone. I sometimes do ghetto speak to my friends. That's how in character I am with this Gettleman account.
Can you do some right now?
I don't do a great Gettleman. Justin Pennick, Bobby's partner, does a pretty good.
Not as good as he thinks it is, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's like a 6.8, but mine is like a 4.8. You know
look at-
what I mean?
He lacks the accent. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
it's the
Bobby,
accent.
I just started following you. I can't believe I didn't follow you. I already saw everything on Twitter.
I thought you were just like we're competition and you don't like me. So, but I was like, it was good to see the follow last night.
No one's competition. It's just fucking.
Oh, I'm a
Twitter.
competition guy. I like competition.
Oh, you are?
But I was waiting on the follow back, so it's good to jump on with you the day
Okay.
after.
I didn't know.
Times was
Well,
actually.
I also want to introduce Tana.
one of my first followers.
The entertainer is. I started following him probably about 2 years ago, and I saw him doing a video in a park, and I'm like,
yeah, I
"Bro,
remember that.
I live across the street from that park." So I basically was like, "Yo, man, where do you live?" And he basically lived in my neighborhood at the time. And then I just started following the guy on YouTube, and he was literally posting a video every single day about
and because
something
of
giant.
you, he no longer does videos outside, and he moved since then.
And I want to give you a fun
You scared the
fact.
hell out of me, man. I had to get out of Brooklyn.
I want to give you a fun fact.
Well, just real quick, do I follow everyone on here just so I know?
I don't know if you follow me, Lawrence. That'd be an honor if you did. That'd be great. I don't know if you do or don't.
Make sure I do, because
You were one of the first Giants players to follow me, Lawrence. So thank you.
I'm gonna let you know right now, Lawrence, if you follow me. Hold on.
I just liked your avatar because it's pretty clean. Bald head, clean beard, edge up. Got
You
the
do
big
not
plans.
follow me, Lawrence. I'm gonna have to add you.
Okay. Yeah, add me,
Well,
and then.
So when I started seeing Bobby on YouTube, at the time, Talking Giants really didn't have many followers. Like, you guys were like at like 800 followers or something. And I was watching.
Yeah, we really
Tynes.
didn't start it till last year.
Yeah, and I said, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but I sent a DM to both Bobby and Tynes and said, you guys should do some stuff together, because I wanted Bobby to tap into your resources, and I thought that Bobby would be an amazing guest on your show. And he did. I'm not taking credit for anything. I just like to make like those like leverage moves, and now you guys are like BFFs. You know,
One
I
big
think that's
happy
so
family.
cool. Yeah, you guys are like.
I remember when you did that. I think I first went on Bobby's podcast before he was really doing the YouTube thing, and I forgot what it was, and then he came to YouTube, and I had him on my channel, and I'm glad that he came over to YouTube. His channel's awesome. I say it all the time. Out of all the content on YouTube, Giants related, Bobby's the guy I listen to the most. I think he brings a different perspective with his film analysis. A lot of the times I got the treadmill down here when I'm running on the treadmill. I'll put him and Justin on for 40 minutes while I'm jogging on the treadmill. I try not to listen to too many Giants creators because I don't like it to alter my opinion. But I enjoy listening to their podcast. Bobby's a great guy. I've met him twice in person. Looking for we were talking about that briefly through text. I may go down to the Senior Bowl with him. That'd be awesome. I got to still email them hopefully this week. But definitely looking forward to, and I got to meet MAJ at the Fan Fest as well. But definitely looking forward to, meeting Bobby again, meeting MAJ again, meeting all you guys. Hopefully get to meet Lawrence Tynes. You're like my hero, man. You hit you scared me. I'm not going to lie, Lawrence, the first time against the Green Bay Packers where you missed a couple.
It's all part of the drama. It's all part of it.
It was all part of the plan, right?
The NFL is like the best living soap opera in the world, and that's what
I always wanted to ask you this question. What was it like kicking a football in like negative 30 degrees?
Not fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't.
Tynes, I got a post-football question for you.
Let me finish up with him. Hold on one second. Right. I'm going to tell you about Fiegels just real quick. It won't take long. So traditionally, we would kick probably 10, 12 kicks on each side to warm up. And Jeff Fiegels, after like the 5th snap and hold from Jay Alford, couldn't catch the ball anymore. So we stopped. Like his hands were so cold. So I don't even think Jeff warmed up. So Jeff just did like maybe 1 or 2 punts because he couldn't physically catch the football with his hands. So that's how cold it was.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Coughlin's face was also
yes. What was he doing? Like, why didn't he wear a mask or Vaseline or
something, right?
By the way, Tynes, I just want to say I think you should take that follow back from Tanner. He basically said he doesn't listen to your podcast on mine, so screw him.
Who doesn't?
I'm talking about YouTube specifically.
You're done, Tanner.
Well, listen, as you guys know, it gets very, very difficult to keep harping on the same negative things. And I hate doing it. And Paul Schwartz, he said it today on our podcast about his New Year's resolution was, I want to stop writing so many negative articles because it brings him down too. And I don't know if I should put this out there, but like Paul Schwartz is a Giants fan. He grew up a Giants fan. I mean, he writes, he does a very good job with the Post. You probably wouldn't know it, but I hate that he has to write negative stuff because when he brings it to his editor, what do they want to say? They want the negative. They want the shit that people want to read, who's getting fired, who's getting cut. They don't want to read about the guy who's, playing well or this guy who's doing something off the field.
They want the drama.
They want the drama, right? That's the world we live in. So I hate that. And I'll be honest with you, like the last 5 or 6 shows, man, it's hard to put the headset on and talk about people, pro football players that I respect and admire. But I mean, it gets old talking about the same stuff, and I hopefully it gets better, guys. But it's been
it's
really
hard.
bad.
It's hard to find the. It's hard
I wanted to ask you though.
It is. and it makes everything down, right? Like I see those spaces. I get in there with my burner and listen to you guys.
Burner.
I got a burner. Yeah, I got one. So like I get in there because like if I go in there with my name, everyone's gonna want me to talk. I just want to listen because I really appreciate what you guys do and you guys are smart, intelligent fans. My God, you guys know it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you guys know. I mean, you guys are on top of it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you a question because you've been more vocal lately than you have been in the past about the Giants. So, and you've been pretty adamant about pushing Kevin Abrams for the GM position.
I just said I would like to see him get an opportunity to be the GM.
Okay,
now, so I'm not necessarily pushing him. Now, if there's a better candidate that comes around, but I get it. Listen, I was ready for all the smoke when I said that. That's fine.
Here's my thing. I personally, the way that Kevin Abrams is, I think he has a cush job. He worked for the NFL offices. Now he does a salary cap. He's an assistant GM for the New York Giants. Why would he want to move into a GM role where his clock is going to start almost immediately? Plus, the interviews that he's done, or the times that he's been in front of the camera, he's not very good at it. He seems like he would get eaten alive by the New York media.
He's super intelligent, right? He's really intelligent. I do have a personal relationship with him, obviously, but we can't lump him in. If we're going to lump in the 10 years of bad with him, we also got to lump in the 10 good years too, right? I know everyone wants to say,
but the bad's more recent.
True. And that's fair.
And the more power he's had.
And that's true. And listen, I don't argue with that. I'm playing a little bit of nepotism here because I like him, and I think he would bring a different lens to it. To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to get the job. Let's be real. They should just go ahead and make Joe Judge the GM and give him 1 year and say, good luck, buddy. Right? It's not a bad idea. He did do personnel in New England.
Well, what about Kyle O'Brien, who they brought in from the Detroit Lions that has New England ties? They created a new front office position for him.
So a name that came up to me from one of my former teammates, I just wrote it down. Where the hell is it? Kansas City's director of player personnel. He's a Boston College guy. Ryan Poles. You guys haven't heard that name mentioned, have you?
No.
He is a former teammate of the great Chris Nee. And Chris
at BC?
At BC. His name is Ryan Poles. So he's the director of player personnel here in Kansas City where I live. And obviously they've done a great job. I mean, it kind of pisses
they swapped their whole offensive line.
It kind of pisses. That was just what I was getting to, Greg. It pisses you off that they did that all in 6 months.
How?
But I'll tell you why. They have a good quarterback. Quarterback makes up for a lot of stuff, guys. I'm telling you.
So
these defenses that we're playing, they do not respect anything we do. They don't respect. Watch how the Eagles played us. I mean, with Fromm. Did you see that secondary? They were all playing. They were all playing with their eyes. They didn't even play man. They didn't play anything. They were standing 9 yards off the receiver. Their out route was there all day long, and we didn't throw it. You know how when Rodgers comes up and just bing, 7 yards, bing, 7 yards. They were playing 10 yards off our receivers with their eyes, not even looking at the wideout. Like, go back and look at that film. Everyone in the secondary is just watching the quarterback.
I watched too much of that film.
That's how disrespectful it is. They don't care. They don't respect anything we do offensively, nor should they.
So as a former player, I'm sure that you're aware of the conversation going back between former scout Steve Verde Rosa and Hanlon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Is there any truth to what he's saying about the front office, the way that front office is currently run? Is Dave Gettleman overriding other people's opinions in that front office that you're aware of? If you say, look, you don't want to comment on that?
No, that's fine. I have a great deal of respect. Pat Hanlon's a very, very close friend of mine. Obviously, I spent a lot of time there. I have a lot of respect for him. Steve, I don't know. I've known him from Twitter just because he started a Twitter handle, and I think he does have some, shock value things to say. So I think it's kind of cool to have someone that was
trying to sell a book, right?
Yeah, someone that was inside the building. But what I'll say is, as a player, you don't know really what goes on up there. Like you are so focused on you and your team. Like you don't really get into Now, since I've been removed from football, I know more because I know people up there. I do feel like that Dave can strong arm people, but that's his role. They gave him that power, and that's on the Giants because they gave him all the power. Listen, I like Dave Gettleman. Even though he hasn't gotten the job done.
I like you too, Lawrence.
Yeah, thank you. He hasn't gotten the job done, and that's what this is, a performance-based business. But in terms of a football guy, I think he was that. I just think the game is changing. The players are changing, and you have to have a different set of eyes, scouting these kids. They're different. Doesn't make them any worse or bad. It's just they're different. And I think he looks at them kind of in an old school way where you have to have a new set of fresh eyes. And I wouldn't mind seeing us get really young, especially on the offensive coaching staff. That offensive coaching staff, every one of them needs to go. Every single one of them.
I agree. I made the point on Spaces the other day. And
I would love to see Ben Wilkerson be named the offensive line coach because I do know the guys love him. But
Sale's not an old guy, though.
He's not, but he coached. What's his NFL background? Right here. He's never coached in the NFL.
Yeah, he's all college.
And then that whole staff, you look at them, and I said this on the show, and I don't know how much traction they got, but think about all the buyouts these coaches have had. That guy from Tennessee that got fired, $12 million. What's their incentive to work, guys? These guys all have buyouts. The tight end coach that was with the Cowboys, what the hell is his name?
Dooley.
So,
he's got a buyout.
Answer,
he's in litigation with Missouri. Get rid of him and get younger. And the thing is, I think Joe Judge is just a bad employer. He didn't know. He picked his friends, and you can't do that in this business, guys. This is a coaching league. It is a league where coaching is everyone runs 4.4. Everyone's 6'3". Everyone's 230. It is a coaching league. It's if the coaches put you in a position to win every Sunday or give you a chance, then you have a chance because player for player, guys, you guys know this, everyone matches up the same. We just haven't been put in the right positions offensively to have a chance. They suck.
I don't think Judge is a bad employer, though, because Garrett, to some extent, was pushed on him.
I agree.
Like, and that's not even just like my opinion as a fan. Like that happened, and he fired Colombo halfway through. That wasn't a quick I think I'm going to fire him after one day of thinking about it. No, that was a long time coming. Halfway through the first season, you mentioned Dooley, who I think should be fired because the tight ends, like that screenplay, the Evan Ingram on Sunday, that should have been a 10-15 yard gain. But Ingram is just floating, and he floats into Andrew Thomas, who washes this guy damn near to the sideline. That's a Jason Garrett guy. I think Rob Sale's actually a pretty good coach. I just think he has been dealt with bad players.
Who?
Rob Sale. The one black guy is Will Hernandez, though, because he's having his worst season.
But Andrew Thomas looks a lot better.
And it's not just. And Andrew Thomas had like real issues that need to be fixed, and I loved him last year. But like he got better, but there was real issues that needed to get fixed, and he got more consistent. Patrick Graham, I love him. Trying to think of like the Jerome Henderson. He didn't have any connections with Henderson. I think he actually had connections with Garrett, but I like him.
Let's not dismiss that Graham is the assistant head coach here, guys. I mean, like, I know you guys are all like loving Patrick Graham, but he is the assistant head coach. You got to put something on him.
Joe Judge brought every coach in.
He put the defense on him. He coordinates the defense.
He brought in Coach Chaos, the D-line coach. Every coach has connections to Joe Judge some way.
And even at quarterback, like the scheme was screwed by Jason Garrett. I think we all agreed on that. Like he was 32 out of 32 for OC.
Horrible.
And we got one game on a short week of Daniel Jones with Freddie Kitchens, and he hurt his neck on the second fucking play of the game. Like how bad does that suck for Joe Judge? And I think Judge should be gone though. So I don't want this to sound like total Judge defense, but I do think he's done a good job. But I think he's just constantly fighting against the lifers in the Giants organization.
I do want to touch on one point though too, because Tynes had brought this up, and Mr. Chris 172 says this a lot in private conversations I have with him, but. Look at Brian Flores. A lot of the people that are on Joe Judge's staff were on Brian Flores's, and he fired them after the first year. You can't hire your friends. It doesn't work. And then the Dolphins. I mean,
that's Shuplinski and Graham. Like I like Graham. Shuplinski Jones got a lot better as pocket manipulation. That's coaching. And then Flores fired the guys. He's fired all his coordinators and coaches basically like every single year.
Yeah, Chad O'Shea is a friend of mine. He fired him after 1 year.
And then he fired his OC again after 2 years. He fired
Yeah.
He fired Pat Flaherty after like 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
Flores is I think Flores. I'm not shitting on Flores. He's done a good job, but I also think he might be the hardest guy to work with in the entire NFL right now.
He's got some dogs on defense though, down there.
And Chad O'Shea was a name that we have floated about possibly bringing in as an OC here because of familiarity in the West Coast offense. But
you need to go here's where you need to start. You need to tap into that McVay tree. You need to tap into this Kansas City tree. You need to go somewhere where they've had
Arizona.
a ton of success. Yes. Somewhere where they're.
How do you feel about Pep Hamilton?
I think he's great. I think he's
like
been
him.
a guy that has just been kind of, laying low. And I think he's a great coach. Everywhere he's been, he's done well. I mean, look what he's doing with that kid in Houston right now.
What about the you brought up Pohl from Kansas City? What about their quarterback coach, the young cat? I can't remember his name.
Is it Kafka? Yeah.
Yeah, why not him for OC? He's been working with Mahomes.
I think everything's on the table. I don't. I'm sure everything is on the table. It'll just see how many of these guys are they going to retain. I mean, listen, by God, they have 30 fucking coaches. This is mind blowing to me. I went back and looked, and I think we had 17 on our Super Bowl team in 2012. Like they have double the amount of coaches,
and none of them can coach.
Some stuff I don't mind sharing with you guys. Like Joe Judge is a micromanager. Okay, he has his hand in every aspect of this team. Offense, defense, special teams, even in some regards, the training room. So, he just needs to take a step back. Like, he needs to let his coaches coach. And I see that, and you feel that when he does his press conferences, right? He is in control, and he knows everything about everything, and that's great. But it's also prohibitive because I don't think he actually lets his coaches coach.
Yeah, nobody gets
things
any
done
space.
a certain way. And I'll be honest with you. I think this offense is ran a certain way because they want to win 16-13.
Yep.
They don't want to win 32-24.
But here's where I disagree with that is Freddie Kitchens has been aggressive without Jones. Even to a fault aggressive at times where it's like, man,
how has he been aggressive?
I mean, I watched the film. He's got like 2-3 vertical routes on plays on the majority of plays. Like he took the stick concept out of the playbook for the most part, which is what Garrett did. Now he understands his O line's bad. He runs a ton of slant flats. Mesh like that, like Craig, you pointed it out, that mesh that was short of the sticks. I do not want Freddie Kitchens as the OC next year. Like I do not want that at all. But also it's went completely different from what we saw with Jason Garrett. It's at least a lot more aggressive with still a bad offensive line and bad quarterback play.
I would say Jason Garrett knew how to hide our warts. That's what I'll say about Jason Garrett.
I don't think so at all.
Giants, Eagles, you come down to the end of the game. So all you needed was one first down to seal the game. And what does he do? He runs the ball and kicks. He didn't even have enough balls to let Jones throw a first game. Yeah, you're right there. One first down, the game is over. Bob Papa said the game is over. Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like there's too much time on the clock for the Giants. They didn't even trust in Jones to throw one 10-yard out route to seal the game. He ran the ball and punted and said, we'll win this game with the defense. I mean, you got to have some type of confidence.
That probably came from Joe Judge.
I agree.
Exactly.
I think Judge in that. I think that situational football is more Judge than Garrett. I agree with that.
I want to piggyback off of that, though, to Craig's point. And Tynes, I'll ask you this. If Joe Judge has the philosophy of, control the clock, win the time of possession, control the field, all the free agent signings that we went out and did seemed like they went the complete opposite end of that philosophy. It seemed like the players that they brought in, the idea that they had here was that they were going to fit Jason Garrett's Air Coryell system. It just didn't work. So who was in charge or who was responsible for that?
Well, I think, listen, it's an excuse, but when you lose Gates and Lemieux in the first 2 weeks of the season, I mean, it prohibits if the offensive line can't protect, then you can't. The only game I think where I can go back and look at and think, okay, this is what it could have been was the Saints game. That's the only game we can go back and say that team at the time was 4-1 or something. I mean, I don't know they were really good playing at home. They went in there and kind of looked like who we thought they could look like. And then shit hit the fan after that. And everything went south. Injuries, Tony, you name it. I mean, Thomas went out for 3 or 4 weeks after that. Yep. It just, I know they can't keep leaning on that, but the reality of it is if your highest paid players and best players aren't available, you're not going to win. and that's a fact.
But even the play calling didn't seem like it fit the personnel. It still seemed like that control the clock, run the ball, win the field position battle.
Last year that worked better though, because last year because we had Lemieux and because we had Gates, and as much as I crapped on Lemieux going into the year because he was horrible in pass protection, he was a really good run blocker. And over the second half of last year, we actually ran the ball really effectively. So we were able to have that kind of identity and chew up the clock over that 4 or 5 game winning streak or whatever it was. This year, our run blocking, before we even get into the pass aspect of the offense, we haven't been able to run the ball at all. And I know a lot of the fans pin the blame on Saquon Barkley, and I think that's the easy target because he's the number 2 overall pick. But our offensive line in terms of run blocking has been pitiful all year.
Starter on the offensive line at every position this year, as opposed to last year.
Say that again.
We've had a different starter at every position on the offensive line this year.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys, that Cunningham guy, he came in and played really good at right tackle. Yeah. Really good. Better than Pert, better than Solder. And I don't know if it was a matchup thing, but he had a strong 40, 50 snaps wherever he played against the Eagles on Sunday. Of course, he'll go right back to the bench and they'll bring
Well, he got COVID, so it's like
Oh, he did?
Yeah, they get
this
so
team
annoying.
It's so and that Corey Cunningham's a young player, guys. He's only in his 4th year, 5th year.
He was a 4th round pick
from
too.
the Texans, right? Texans. Speaking of Miss Rachel, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Cunningham. What do you think about him? Wasn't he a Texan, guys?
Yeah. No, Zach Cunningham?
We're talking Corey.
Zach Cunningham. No.
Corey.
He was a
Corey
Cardinal
Cunningham?
and then a Patriot.
Happy New Year, guys. I got to jump.
Just kidding, Bobby. Hey, guys, I want to welcome PTA, man. We let him in the chat. I don't know why. A lot of people are trolling him in the comments saying he's a scammer.
Right. This is what we do. This is what my life is. So first and foremost, shout out to everybody that's in here. Okay, everybody that's in here, I absolutely love, and I'm super happy to be here. I'm not sure what is going on.
Your microphone is hitting your shirt.
It can't be me.
Yeah,
I think that's
when you showed up and it started doing that. I don't know. It definitely
the microphone on your headphones.
Correct.
See if I mute him.
It's the microphone. It's rubbing your shirt. You got it like a mic.
He's muted right now, so yeah.
I muted him. I'm unmuting him.
It was Craig.
Damn, I threw all that shade at you, PTA, and it was Craig.
Y'all just gonna throw me under the bus? Dang, yo. All right, cool.
Rachel had to go, so I thank you, Rachel, for joining us. Sorry about that, but she had to run.
Rachel, thank you so much. You killed it. Just to let you guys know, next we have Bobby Skinner's arch nemesis, Pizzle, coming on, or Co-Pizzle, along with Premise from the Philadelphia Eagles Vet Alumni Podcast. So that'll be fun. Why do they keep doing that to us? Wasn't that what he said, Bobby? Was that
who?
Blew it.
Do you remember when the Eagles traded up over us and that thing went viral of Pizzle getting upset?
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
I remember the video. I can't remember exactly what he said.
I can't remember what he said because but
so why can't they just leave us alone?
That's it. Well, they'll be coming on in about 5 minutes as well. But
I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, LT, you're the man. Okay,
I appreciate it.
It's an honor to even be in your presence right now. Thank you very much for.
Tynes stole those two Super Bowl trophies behind him,
and I love it, and I love that he
can't buy them.
I love that he snagged them. So yeah, thank you for everything that you did for the Giants. Thank you for the 2 Super Bowls. You're a very vital part of that. Thank you very much for following me. I thought I pissed you off. I was like, oh man, what did I do to LT? Because he said screw PTA Sports. So there's a lot of things that were said as I was sitting here waiting to come on. First thing that I absolutely agree with was the point about it being a coaching league. Like, coaches are the most important part of this because everyone's good, right? Even the bad players in the NFL are good. I always say this about professional athletes, right? Their average is our exceptional. Okay, so everybody in the NFL is good. It's so important to have good coaches that are going to game plan, that are going to prepare, that are going to, have some discipline, build a culture. All of these things are important. And it's unfortunate, right? Because we thought that when Joe Judge got here, we were going to get those things. A lot of us bought in real quick. I'm guilty of it. Okay. We thought he was going to come here and he was going to change everything. And it just feels like it's a whole lot more of the same. And that's unfortunate because I was absolutely rooting for him. I was absolutely rooting for this coaching staff. I didn't want Jason Garrett, but I was like, it is what it is. He's here now. I know he knows at least what he's doing. But I never thought about the fact of and LT brought this up, Joe Judge wants to win low-scoring affairs. And I don't understand the thought process behind that. I don't understand in a league where,
to me, that tells me he doesn't trust his coaches.
The muckety mucks at the top want all games to be high-scoring affairs. Offense. Why are we trying to win games by low scores? It doesn't make any sense. But I hear that coming from Mr. Tynes, and I'm like, wait a minute. That makes all the sense in the world.
These are micromanagers.
But that's the
what makes us think he wants to
ever
win
heard of.
16, 13 more than 30?
I honestly
look at what we're doing offensively.
Because we suck. It's not. I don't think it's like
the game plan sucks.
The offense is. Was the offense leaving 10 points on the board so they can win by a field goal?
All right.
I feel like we're just making shit up.
Here's what I'll say. Real quick.
I'll give you a perfect example from Sunday's game. We get the ball right on their side of the field. Or no, it was the long drive, our longest drive where Graham kicked the field goal. Okay, we go, ran it. I think we tried to throw it, and then we go draw from a 3rd and 10, just so Graham can go kick it, and we lose 2 yards, and Graham has to hit a 54-yard field goal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so.
Jake Fromm had 6 completions on the day, and 2 of them were screen passes.
Yeah,
I agree with running it. It's funny they're so bad that they can't even get 4 yards on a draw play there,
or nothing. Right? Like we'll take 0 at that point, but to lose,
it is comical how bad they are. I'm not saying.
Did you see the drive at the +31? I tweeted the 3 draws in a row: draw, punt. After we went up 3-0. Like at the -31, that's what it's the -31. That's the whole playbook's open. You're not backed up. Like +30, -31, you gotta But to run 3 draws to me, I don't get it. Like I've never seen anything like it.
It's ridiculous. Like it's what it is.
It's just conservative on all levels.
He is conservative. I agree with that. I just don't think it's like
in my opinion, he's conservative because he feels like he needs to be conservative.
Sure. Listen,
he's conservative with 4th down decisions. That's where he's way too
conservative. I agree. Like there was instances this year. I think they had like a 4th and 1 at like the 31. Like there's been several instances this year where I said you got to be a little bit more.
But how Eli Penny hasn't gotten the ball on every 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2 that we've had this year is criminal.
Thank you.
That guy has go back and look. We had him on the show, and he's a wonderful person, but he's a great player. Did you see late in the game how much energy he played with? That tells me I want that guy on my football team forever. Like at the end of the game, Eagles are kicking our ass. He's still out there catching the ball, running the ball, blocking. Like that guy has 1 negative carry in his career, 1 loss of yardage carry in his entire career. Now he doesn't have 500 carries, but give Eli Penny the football on 3rd and 1. Enough with these quarterback sneaks, big long neck trying to duck under the center.
I agree with that. 3rd and 1 QB sneaks are a wasted play.
3rd and 1. How many times have we seen that belly fullback dive to Eli Penny and he gets 2, 3, 4 yards every time? Like they know it's coming, but they still have to stop it. Run it till they stop it. And that's where I think we get, we ran some draw plays that were working the other day, and obviously everything's off the left side to Andrew Thomas's side, but keep running it. We ran the same plays over and over again for years because we were good at it. And there's some plays that the Giants are good at, but they don't stick to it. And
you also had a pretty good offensive line, Lawrence.
What's that?
You had a pretty good offensive line when you played.
We did.
It was a lot easier to run when you played with the Giants.
Right now, their personnel is so bad. Like you have a good left tackle, you have a bad left guard through right tackle, you have a bad tight end room. You've got a banged up wide receiver room. You lost Shep. Tony's is in and out. Galladay is Like he hasn't been anything special since he came, and I love the signing, and I honestly still would do that signing. And then now for the last 4 weeks, you haven't had the QB who was wasn't even like amazing. He was kind of average, and now you have Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon. Now I will say, to talk about schemes, Mike Glennon is having career worst in every single statistical category. So he went from bad to worse on this team.
I tweeted that. Yeah, it's horrible.
Again, like when I was talking about Freddie Kitchens being aggressive. He's, I think, more aggressive in concepts, not like maybe pass run ratio. But like, I don't want Freddie Kitchens back. I really don't. But I also know like Freddie Kitchens is our OC because we fired Garrett mid-year, not because Joe Judge handpicked him to be the OC.
Would you say it's gotten worse or gotten better?
The scheme has gotten better, but with Jones out, it's gotten way worse.
Right. Yeah.
Because I like that first Eagles game. I actually liked the scheme in that game, but Jones was missing throws. Like,
man,
Galladay had 7 targets. Every single one of those targets was warranted. He had 3 catches for 50-plus yards. He had the drop on the drag. He had the slant where Jones missed him. And then the 2 fade balls where he had one-on-one coverage and Jones had bad placement on that. Like, he had 7 targets, and every single one was extremely justifiable and should have had a good outcome.
I brought this up the other day, and I know you and I have been pretty big Daniel Jones supporters, but in college, he threw his wide receivers open. In the NFL, especially this season, he's missing on those throws, man. You're right.
He's late. He's late on everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw anybody open. The only time he's thrown a receiver open was the touchdown to Evan Ingram against the Raiders. He gave someone a chance to go up and make a play. When's the last time he's done that?
I love Daniel Jones, but I'm sorry. I think 2019 Daniel Jones, when he was with Pat Shurmur, was as good as it was going to get. I think the Giants fundamentally ruined this kid.
They did.
And
absolutely they did.
I'll give Paul Rudd credit on Twitter because he said it best. He said they took away Daniel Jones' ceiling just to raise his floor by limiting the turnovers. And they turned him into something that he really wasn't. So now you see it every Sunday. I mean, I played linebacker on defensive side, and you can see it for the first couple games of this season. He looked scared, like he looked like a deer in headlights, and he's thinking way too much. He's not busy being the quarterback. He's busy worrying about what they're coaching him and what they're coaching him to see.
30 coaches.
They ruined him, and I think Pest made this point too. And I'll ask you this. But the execution stinks. Does that have to do with the fact that they have 30-something coaches on this team?
I think they're very, very poorly coached on the offensive side.
I agree.
Too many. There's delay of games. There's substitution issues. There's timeouts before when a quarter's going to end. Just let the quarter run out. We called a timeout in Miami. 2 seconds left in the quarter. Just let the quarter run out. What are we doing?
Let's talk about the offensive coaching staff, at least at the start of the year. Head coach or offensive coordinator Jason Garrett, not a Judge guy. O-line Rob Sale. At the beginning of the year, by the way, everyone kind of loved Rob Sale. We're having 0 sack games. Thomas deserves credit for his growth, but Sale agrees with that. Tight ends coach Jason Garrett guy. Wide receiver Tyke Tolbert. That guy was here with Pat Shurmur, and they kept him because the wide receivers had a good year in 2019. Not a Judge guy. The running backs are Jody Wright and Burton Burns. Those are Joe Judge guys. So essentially, you had your O-line coach and your running back coach were the only Judge guys on the staff. There was more non-Judge guys on the offensive staff than Judge guys.
And Burton Burns is a nice guy.
Real quick before we continue.
It seems like Jody Wright is the running back coach now, though. Like I hear the running backs talking about Jody more than they do Burton Burns, but that's me just
Hey, Pest, real quick, man. I'm gonna have to bid you adieu, Pest. I have another guest coming in here, but Lawrence and Tana and Bobby, stay on if you can. Pest, where can everyone check you out, my man?
You can find me on just come find me on Twitter. Pestilence, PESTALANCE. Find me on Twitter. That's the best way to get at me.
He's on those Giant Spaces too.
I'm always on the Giant Spaces. Those are that's where you can find me at. You can also find me on YouTube, PTA Sports. I've actually kind of taken a break from YouTube for a little bit, but I will be getting back into it hot and heavy in the new year. I'm also on Twitch, PTA Sports. You can find me there as well. Kush, my wife is making new cookies. She's going to mail them to you. What's going on? Authentic. Hi, Nikki. Sorry I didn't get to stay longer, but I hope everybody has a great new year, and I get up with you guys later. Deuces.
All right, man. See you.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. All right, so we're bringing someone in here who's part part of the enemy, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
A dear friend of mine, he runs an awesome podcast called the Vet Alumni Podcast. And when we're talking about the Vet, we're talking about Veteran Stadium, that dump that they built in that swamp called Philadelphia. Lawrence, I don't know if you were playing. Were you at the link or did you play at the Vet?
Yeah, man, I'm not that old. Damn.
Well, welcome premise to the Vet. Vet.
I mean, are you a
Alumni
Giants
Podcast.
fan? Do you even know when I fucking played?
What's up, gentlemen?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You played about
94 to 01.
2000.
Damn.
No, you played 2000. I don't know when the link was built. I don't know my Philadelphia
Man.
history.
Have you ever been down there?
2003. The link was 2003. They knocked the Vet down in 2002, gentlemen.
There it is.
There we go.
Thanks for
So
having
you
me
did-
on, Dave.
What's up, man?
Hard to hear you guys. I'm on mobile, but well, what can I say? We're two franchises headed in completely different directions, which is the same story for most of the last decade. You know, I don't know what else can be said.
Hey, Prem, I just got to ask you something. I mean, you look like you're hiding out in a vestibule, getting ready to rob an old lady. What's going on?
I'm doing my friend Dave a favor. I'm on the go. I got plans.
I mean, it is Philadelphia, so I just want to ask you. That's all.
I got plans, Maj. I got things to do. It's a holiday week.
Stay safe out there, Prem.
Always.
So,
So,
yeah,
fellas,
you
continue
want to talk a
discourse.
little shit? Your Eagles got us this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fluke. The first game was a fluke. We won 4 of our last 5. We're clearly probably going to lock down the 7th seed in a weak conference overall. But, you know, we're not supposed to be in the playoffs. We're rebuilding, right? But when you have a young coach who's constantly adjusting and playing to the strengths of his team, when you run the ball better than anybody in the NFL with 3 capable running backs, and you have a defense that has been poor at times but has made enough plays to win 8 games, probably could have 10 wins if you look at the Niners game and look at that debacle in New York where we lost to you guys. Was a weird NFC East game where you throw the stats out the window type of game. You know, this could be a 10-win football team, which I thought they'd only win maybe 8 or 9 games, to be honest with you. I'm on record saying 8.
All right, so Prem, that fluke, who came to visit you in Philadelphia, that fluke game, quote unquote, and walked into your Eagle bar with all those scumbags, mouth breathing all over me, and literally danced all over that Philly bar with my Giants hat and my Giants shirt, my LT, not you, sorry, Lawrence, but the other LT, the other guy that played linebacker shirt. How'd you guys feel when I came down there and basically pissed on your graves?
Well, it was good to see you, Dave, but at the same time, it was not good to see the poor result for a very tough day when your team scores 7 points coming off of a 40-point performance and looking good. But that typically happens in the NFL. Coming off a blowout win, a lot of times you might have letdowns in games against division opponents that are desperate, like the Giants clearly are.
Guys, think about this game. Think about that game. I go back to that game.
And then you guys killed Jake Fromm.
We were +4, +5 in turnovers and almost lost that game.
Right. That
Against
just
the
shows
Eagles.
you how
That's
bad they
that's
actually
how bad
are.
we are.
We did the same thing 2 years ago, Lawrence, against Washington. We had
4
5
picks. I
interceptions.
mean, do you know what the winning percentage is on four interceptions? It's like 99.9%. And the Eagles had a chance to win that game.
We contributed to the 99.
In MetLife.
So you guys out on Daniel Jones? Raise your hand if you're out on Daniel Jones.
Halfway out.
We had Tiki Barber on our show today. I don't know if you guys
Stopgap. He's a stopgap next year.
Yeah, next year I'm in.
He made a great point. He called the Seattle Niners game this past weekend. Tiki did, and he said he talked to Kyle Shanahan, and basically Shanahan told Jimmy Garoppolo, if you're not a top 10 quarterback, I'm looking to replace you every year. And that made so much sense. That's exactly what we're doing. Like, Daniel Jones is our guy, but you're going to keep trying to replace him every single year until you find a guy because he's not a top 10 quarterback.
Right.
I agree with that.
They need to view him next year as a stopgap.
And just like the Eagles, like Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. They're going to keep trying to. He'll never be a top 10
3 first-round picks. Kenny Pickett sitting right there.
But you're going to keep trying to replace that guy every year. And I don't know whether it's through free agency or the draft, depends on what you do. But there's only so many of these quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, I think you hit that right on the head. I think the stupidest thing you could ever do is force a quarterback pick. I'll say that. So, like, I don't necessarily want the Giants to draft the quarterback this year. I think you have to be completely sold that this guy has top 5 to top 6 upside. if you're going to take a quarterback that early. That's what I'll say. So I'm probably on the side of sticking with Jones for another year. But long term, you're right. I mean, you look at all these quarterbacks that have gotten second salaries. Matt Ryan, who's like a fringe, he's probably on the back end of the top 10. Probably not worth it. Couldn't win after he got his contract. Matt Stafford, after these quarterbacks get paid, it's very hard to win. Of course, now he got traded to the Rams, so he's got an opportunity to win. But when a quarterback eats up 15% of the cap, it's nearly impossible to win unless they're an elite quarterback. And Daniel Jones is nowhere near that.
Talking about this Eagles team, the thing they have that we don't have is an offensive line and a defensive line.
That's the strength.
And you can. That's why Jalen Hurts is excelling. Like they're able to do things with him because they have a veteran offensive line, really good players. Lane Johnson, the center, who I freaking love, Kelsey.
Yeah,
I know he's an Eagle, but I love him. And then
he's hard not to love that guy.
Yeah, I mean, did you see that emotional press conference he gave the other? I almost cried with him. And then the left tackle is an absolute monster.
Cries a little too much, but he's
New
good.
Zealander. Yeah, he does. He does.
And that
cry.
left tackle, Jordan Mailata, he never played football his whole life.
Ever.
He learned how to play football as a grown man, basically.
They brought him
because
to
Jeff Stoutland is maybe the best offensive line coach, definitely in the NFC. And I'm glad that they kept Stoutland on because he's taken these project players, 7th round project player that is now your left tackle of the future. You really don't hear that sentence.
That's signed for much. Really good money. I mean,
one thing that you guys did that was really smart that I think the Giants should do in a year, you sign Mailata to that extension before he had a big year. I think the Giants should do that with Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas's agent is not stupid though.
Yeah, he's not.
But ideally,
here's the difference: Mailata,
and we're getting rid of Gettleman.
Andrew Thomas, 1st round pick.
Andrew Thomas is made. But if they have any ability, Lawrence, to do it, I think they should.
Well, listen, they always come to you early.
Yeah.
And when they do, your antennas go up real high.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get me on the sheet. So you got to roll the dice. I get it. But 1st round pick versus a 7th round pick, you're signing that deal like Mailata did.
Yeah, he was a top 10 paid left tackle. People laughed at it when they did it.
Yeah. When he gets 60, 70 million, I mean, he's deserves every penny.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't want to keep you here all night. I mean, I'd love to chat all night. Lawrence, Bobby, Tana, if you guys got to go, Prem, you're welcome to stay. I'm down to talk ball all night because I'm now producing this show. I don't know what I'm doing.
What's the name of the show? I got to roll, but what's the name of the show?
Okay, so basically, Bobby, I've been in the music industry now for about 15, 16 years, self-employed. And I've been working on a lot of really interesting, like cinematic sort of content. So basically, like my vision right now is to merge the worlds of sports and music and do some documentary style things on athletes that are also musicians or rappers. So there might be one on our team that you might know who's doing some joking around. And again, no guarantees, but I'm doing the due diligence, speaking with the agent, figuring it out. We're gonna have Rachael, who you met earlier, and MAJ, either in the studio or walking with them. I want to see these athletes like working out. I mean, these are the most finely tuned athletes in the world, and then going into a club and performing where people are literally poisoning themselves with alcohol and cigarettes, even in some places, and just really highlight that and look at it from a whole different perspective. So. This YouTube Live, we're not looking to compete with Tana. We're not looking to compete with Talking Giants or Clapback for that matter, or Co-Pizzle, however you say it, who's in the waiting room. We're looking just to do some interesting new things. We'll maybe do one of these YouTube Lives monthly, and we'd love to have you all back on, man. I really appreciate. I'm a fan of Tana. I'm a fan of Bobby. I mean, Lawrence, you're like one of my idols. Any members of those 2 Super Bowl teams are in the air of championship forever. So you guys, any last shout outs?
We got to get David Akers on here, Prem.
Yeah, we do. We got to reach out to Akers people.
That's my guy. He's in Nashville.
I mean, his Prem's podcast, Vet Alumni, is fantastic, man.
Thanks,
we literally started talking about doing some sports things at the same time. And him and his partner, Technique, have been consistently producing a high-quality podcast. So I suggest any of you guys, if you ever want to go on and talk shit when the Giants are finally good, come on. I'll link you up with them. We've all been in contact.
We had
any last words?
MAJ on.
Yeah, and you know what MAJ said? He says, I want Joe Judge as my coach for the next 20 years. And then the vet alumni guys just laughed at him.
Oh, man.
I still believe in Joe Judge. Joe Judge possesses certain qualities that you can't find in a good head coach. Urban Meyer after 1 year. Ben McAdoo talking about Frazier, the sex-crazed lion. Like, it's very difficult to find a good head coach, but he has to find the OC that's going to take this team to the next level, just like he found Patrick Graham. I think if he does that, I think the Giants will be in the right direction. You got to take the offensive lineman, even if Daniel Jones is not your quarterback, build the wall for the next quarterback coming in, whether it's a bridge quarterback or a rookie quarterback in 2023. You got to do this the right way. I mean,
what do you think?
We need
Daniel
to get
Jones'
build a wall
ceiling.
shirt to go with your hat.
What do you think Daniel Jones' ceiling is? Like comparable player, like Garoppolo?
Tannehill.
Yeah,
Tannehill, Roethlisberger ceiling, but it's year
Bradford.
3. It's year 3 and it hasn't hit, so ceiling talk is kind of like,
I mean,
what are we doing?
I'll go like you said. I think it's.
But I'm saying, like, okay, in his best year, who is he? Like, is he?
I think he's
Roethlisberger.
If he's on the right team, I'm not going that high. Maybe
Roethlisberger's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You said a ceiling for 1 year. You didn't say his career. He's not going to be that. You're saying ceiling, or what do we think he's going to be?
What do you think he's going to be? What's his?
He's going to be at home
I think
2 years.
Year 4, he's going to be a stopgap. He'll probably play average, and the Giants will probably look for QB after that, and he'll bounce around the league as a starter, backup, maybe pull a Tannehill. That's what I think.
You think?
Authentic says no way his ceiling is Tannehill or.
Well, I don't give a shit what he says.
I agree with Authentic.
I think if you ask me right now, I think he falls between.
Damn, he said Dan Orlovsky.
I think he falls between Teddy Bridgewater, which is kind of what Bobby was saying, a guy that bounces around the league. I think he's between that and Tannehill. I don't think he's going to be as good as Tannehill. I think he's going to be a little bit better than a guy that just bounces around the league.
Okay.
But I don't see it at this point. I don't even think he'll reach Tannehill level.
Here's what I say. I don't think he'll be the Giants QB. So wherever he goes, he can have
that's
fun.
all that matters.
You talking about next
He'll
season?
be selling insurance in 2024.
Like the future. He'll be
I'm
a
muting
QB
this Philly
next year.
guy. I'm muting him. All right, guys, listen.
Maybe he'll be Gardner Minshew's backup.
Get out of here.
All right.
If you guys got to bounce, shout out your Instagrams, your Twitter.
Yeah, only my Instagram at Bobby Skinner _ on Instagram. The rest of the stuff you guys are already following. So, all right, see you, fellas.
All right,
Bobby,
later,
thank
man.
you so
Nice
much
to meet
for coming on, my brother.
Man.
Well, since I have you on, I have to ask you a question. I mean, you're pretty in tune to New York sports media. Your teammate Chris Canty has always said that kickers aren't people. How do you feel about that?
Chris says that?
Yeah.
How do I feel about that? You know what? That we're not what? Players or people?
No, kickers aren't people.
Oh.
Who said that?
So he's just mad because, like, in 9th grade when the coach asked everyone on the team who could kick, he didn't raise his big ass hand. I did. And he had to do all the running and hitting and tackling because he wanted to be a D lineman.
I actually had you on my fantasy team, believe it or not, Lawrence Hines, when you were with KC. So,
we used to run shit with Priest Holmes and the boys. Good.
I was pretty
excited.
Hey, that offensive line.
guys,
You talk about an offensive line. Man, we had 4, literally, Willie Rofe. Here's left. Willie Rofe, Will Shields, both Hall of Fame. Casey Wigman, borderline Hall of Fame. Brian Waters, borderline Hall of Fame. And then the right tackle kind of swung around. We had, we had a dude from the Eagles. Wellborn. You remember John Wellborn?
Wisniewski.
Wellborn. John Wellborn.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. I believe it or not, I almost got in a fight with his big ass.
Well, guys, just as we're here, we have another guest who literally is probably one of the first, if not the first Giants YouTube content creator. Literally has been making content forever. He does not like Eagle fans, so that's why I really wanted to have him on with Prem from the Vet Alumni. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Pizzle. What's up, kid?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
It's sunny in there.
That basement is lit.
It's a man cave, Lawrence.
It's a mom's house.
Let me just say, Lawrence, it's an absolute honor and a privilege to be in the same stream with you. I want to from this Giants fan,
here we go,
and from other Giant fans, I want to thank you for everything you've done Big Blue. I personally appreciate it. I don't know if anybody else does. There's a lot of people on John's Twitter probably would have criticized your kicks, but I loved every one of them. Even the ones you missed.
Like this dumbass Gettleman guy.
Yeah,
posted
like that
all
guy.
my misses. He posted my misses today. I was like, damn, that's dirty.
But no, it's good to see Entertainer, MAJ, DG. Obviously, got to see your face.
So Pizzle, where do you? That is not a Long Island accent.
It's a Tennessee accent.
Okay,
but don't let the accent fool you. As you can see behind, I actually just met Lawrence Taylor a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. So to meet the other LT is absolutely just amazing. It's like a dream come true.
Full circle.
What a way to end 2021.
That's right.
But yeah, it's a weird accent. It could be fake, Lawrence. I could be just putting it on, That's
Lawrence, if you're not familiar with Cop Pizzle is a cartoon character come to real life.
Absolutely.
It's sunny in there, isn't it? It's sunny in that indoor man cave, isn't it?
Not Pizzle.
That's okay. You're the only one that's ever made fun of me for wearing sunglasses, okay?
Why don't they just leave me alone?
Yeah, Cop.
Come on. We got an Eagle fan. Tell him.
Cop. Come on.
Yeah.
Prem's team took
it's hard for me to talk junk to Eagle fan after the ass whooping they just gave us. I mean, if I'm just being honest. But I will say this. I'm fascinated that Eagle fans actually believe that Jalen Hurts is better than Daniel Jones. That fascinates me. I think that's fucking crazy. I think Daniel Jones.
How much have you been drinking today?
No, I mean, it's not fact. Daniel Jones, every single time he's played against the Eagles, when he's healthy, has tattooed that ass. That's a fact. I mean, so you should be thankful that we didn't have Daniel for this last game, even though it's a shit show right now.
I know
the reality that you haven't, like you can say, and look, I love Eli. This is no disrespect, Lawrence. Let's be honest. There's nobody that fought for Eli Manning more than I did on YouTube. But y'all owned Eli. There's no question about that. Y'all had some great success against him, but you haven't had success against Daniel Jones. You haven't. That's a fact. So I don't even know why you run your mouth about Daniel. If you want to talk junk about Jake
Fromm, a new definition to
go ahead.
It's a new definition to delusion.
If you get to the playoffs, it's one and done. Okay, that's the bottom line. I mean, that's just a fact.
Jalen Hurts is what top? He's the top 11 in scoring overall.
No, I don't care. That's boogery.
With Daniel
numbers,
Jones,
okay?
what has he accomplished? Nothing.
Whatever, but he hasn't. But from an Eagles versus Giants,
take a team to the playoffs.
Eagles versus Giants,
starting as a quarterback with a brand new head coach and
Eagles versus Giants,
injury riddled offensive line. It's been shuffled all year, and he's still putting up numbers every week that Daniel Jones hasn't sniffed for 2 years.
Okay, whatever. I mean, whatever that geek shit was. Listen, the fact is, Daniel swept you last year. I don't count the Evan Ingram really caught that ball.
Are you worried about success versus one team, or are you worried about success in the NFL?
He technically swept you this year, but he didn't play in the second game. That's fact. Okay, he did. He beat you in the first game. Daniel beat, and he did with a broken freaking neck. Okay, that's a fact.
So you're
beat you with a broken
4-11, and you're talking about winning one game versus the division rival. Shouldn't you be focused on if your team as a team can actually do something in the postseason for the first time since 2011?
It's sad times. I mean, look at us. We're in a therapy session before the 2021 year ends. There's no question that we stink. Okay. I mean, if you want to get excited about beating the Giants, go right ahead. But it ain't nothing to get excited about. You lost to this team. The Giants have how many wins this year? Like they can't even. You can't even. It takes one hand to count how many times the Giants won.
Well, we're going to the playoffs, and you guys are going to be at home, so I don't even know what we're debating.
Okay, we're going to keep the seat warm for you. I mean, we're going to keep it warm, right, Lawrence? We're going to have popcorn. We're going to have all of it. I mean, because you're going to be one and done. You hate to,
but it's a new team. You don't have to win a playoff game. Getting to the playoffs is a success for a new coach. It's never coached a football team in his life. You understand? It's a progression. You don't go from 4-12 to winning a Super Bowl. It doesn't happen. You go from 4-12 to making the playoffs.
There's no
and then maybe
question.
you improve the next year, get 11 wins, win a playoff game. There's a progression. But you wouldn't know about that because it's been a decade.
Oh, no, I wouldn't know about it. I mean, I'm old enough to watch the Giants have a good progression. Look, there's no question the Eagles have.
Wait, what's your New York history? How did this happen with the Southern accent with the New York team?
What is this? What am I being? What? Look what you started.
No, let's hear your history though, because you have an interesting story, Cop Pizzle. You have a very interesting story how you became a Giant fan.
Yeah,
let everyone know.
Well, my father's a degenerate gambler. That's how it all started. No, I'm just kidding. But he did bet. When I was 5 years old, my dad bet on the Giants. in the Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills, and I had went to a Super Bowl party with my dad as a 5-year-old. I begged him to go, and so I went, and all him and his buddies were rooting on the Giants, and I just thought that was the thing you did. You just root on the Giants. So I for some reason was fascinated with the late 80s, early 90s Giants teams, Lawrence Taylor, Bill Parcells, all that jazz. And I just started continuing to follow them as a kid. Just, did what I could to keep up with them. And here I am many years later.
Do you have some NY drip going on?
Right here? Oh, I've got bling. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I got it all, Lawrence. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Look, I got a little skull and crossbones. It's got a little diamond. That means Giants till death. This is an old Giant. You can't see it right there, but I've had that since I was about 7 years old.
And this is daily wear? This is not just for the show?
Oh, this is every damn day, Lawrence. I mean, we walk out wearing this shit. I mean, absolutely. 100%.
Hey, Lawrence, I need to wear more Giant shit. I'm embarrassed to wear it.
Look, absolutely. Look,
I keep it in my house. This is all I got.
There's a lot of.
I'm in Kansas City Chiefs country, so
I mean, you've got apps. I mean, you've got me beat. I mean, look what you got.
Gentlemen, I don't mean to cut you short. I got to run. I got plans that I can't miss, but I appreciate the time. I appreciate the insight, Lawrence. Pleasure to talk.
Yeah,
to you,
you too. Yeah,
as a Super Bowl winning player, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that old lady waits for no one, Prem.
Pleasure to talk to me too, right, Prem?
Of course, we'll link up on the Twitter. Maybe we'll have you on our podcast, man. We love to talk with you on the pod.
Hey, Prem, shout out the podcast and the Twitters and the MySpace and the what else we got? The Instagrams and.
Well, you see, our podcast is only on OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. It's Instagram Vet Alumni Pod, VET Alumni Pod on Instagram, Vet Alumni Pod on Twitter, Vet Alumni Pod on all the streaming, Spotify, Google, Amazon. We love to have some new fans that aren't Eagles fans, and we'd love to speak with any of you guys on the pod anytime. And DG. Always a pleasure.
My brother. All right,
Later,
man.
gentlemen.
Have a good night. All right. Thanks for coming on, my man.
No doubt.
All right. Let's boot him off the stream. Let's get
The
these
place
Eagles.
is a lot cleaner now. Place is a lot cleaner.
It is a lot cleaner.
Absolutely.
Good to talk to you, Pizzle. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Good to see you, entertainer.
What do you think of this?
DJ, he brings me on here just to get, or DG, you bring me on here just to get me all hot and bothered about this Eagle stuff. I mean, what can we say? We can't even say nothing.
I want to ask you a question, Pizzle.
That's one of my best friends, Prem.
I don't know how you can be friends with him.
Music stuff.
I want to ask you a question, Pizzle, because I haven't really talked a lot of Giants with you this year, but I think we're kind of in sync with our thoughts right now. You're ready to blow this up.
Pizzle said that Solder was comeback player of the year, so we'll see.
Listen, let me clarify that. I said that he was, and look, it's entertainment. We're having a good time. Me and Bobby were having a blast in our stream together.
Yeah,
and I had said that out of the players coming back to the Giants from the 2020 season, I thought Solder had a chance to be comeback player of the year for those players for the Giants. And he was technically reliable. He just didn't play well.
He sucks.
But, I mean, absolutely. But I mean, they all sucked.
That was what I was going to say. You're at the point now where you're just like, blow this up.
I don't know where I am with. I'll be honest with you. Let me start with Dave Gettleman, and I have been such a Dave Gettleman supporter because, and Lawrence, you might want to. He's been a part of the teams that had success with the Giants. And I always have a soft spot in my heart for those guys. So I wanted Dave Gettleman to technically work. And obviously the pieces that he's brought in hasn't obviously worked. But it just feels like to me, he's just been a front man for all the junk that's been going on in the front office. Why am I solo right here? I don't want to be the only show in town here. Listen, I just feel like he's a scapegoat. I don't feel like it's all part of his problem. I don't feel like he's all at fault, but rightfully so. He deserves, to have to be fired or whatever. They're going to let him retire, whatever the case may be. A lot of Giant fans are up in arms. They feel like he should be fired. And I get that. Because obviously we let Jerry Reese go and he was part of 2 Super Bowls. Obviously they moved on from other coaches and whatnot. But anyways, I don't know what to think anymore about Joe Judge. I feel like he has a chance to be a good coach. He said all the right things. I think the Giants think that he's the next Bill Parcells. And I feel like that's really scary to think like that, right? But Bill, even going back, like he was almost run out of town at one time, right? I mean, he was almost. I mean, they were wishy-washy on him, and so I just feel like Joe has an opportunity to be a good coach, but I don't know if the time's right now in New York. That's what I'm afraid of. I feel like what the Giants' problems are is a lot to do with what's going on in the front office, and until they clear that mess up, I don't know if this team can ever be good again. I really don't. If you think about it, not that Mr. Mara doesn't care, but when I look at some of the owners in the NFL whose teams are really good right now, they really give a shit. Like Jerry Jones gives a shit. Like he really, really cares, and the Cowboys are good.
But John doesn't want to lose games, though. Let's face it.
I know, but I feel like there's people that are in positions.
The problem is he doesn't know how
cares
to
too much
win.
about his image. I think he cares, but I mean, like, to be honest with you,
I just feel like I'm not saying he wants to lose, Mike, but what I'm getting at is how bad does he really want it? Again, Lawrence, if I'm saying something out of my ass that you know, feel free to correct me.
I mean, John Mara cares about the team.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying he doesn't care. I'm saying
there's
levels. There's levels. Well, I mean, do you think he cares? Do you think he cares as much as Jerry Jones?
Well, Jerry Jones is about to die.
He's just not as outspoken as Jerry Jones, but I think he cares as much.
Well, Jerry Jones has only got so many years left, too, right? Let's put that in perspective. Like he's older, right? Isn't he 80 plus? I mean, John's not. I don't even know how old John Mara is.
What is the deal with Chris Mara?
Love him.
I know, but is he a part?
He didn't have. Listen, I know people I've read on Twitter where everyone said he didn't have his hand in a lot of these picks. He just got overruled.
But does he have a job with the team?
As far as I know, any pro personnel guy. So he's responsible for bringing in the pro personnel guys.
If he's getting, and I'm not attacking. Sorry, I'm not attacking you. I'm just asking.
No. He's a pro personnel guy.
Is he? So he's got a job, which means he's collecting a check.
Yeah.
But he's not doing anything.
Well, he just said that he was.
Yeah, he's a director of pro personnel.
He's in charge of pro personnel.
President of pro personnel.
But then you read reports and you see stuff that he has no hand. He doesn't have his hands in anything.
That's coming from Giants Insider, though.
I'm asking Lawrence. I'm asking Lawrence if that's true.
So a pro personnel guy's job is kind of like, during the season, those workouts on Tuesdays, day off, right? You got to get your 7 DBs that you have on a short list, your 7 kickers, your 7 punters, all that stuff. He's more associated with pro scouting. Like, okay, Kenny Golladay would probably have been his guy. Who else? Any free agents? Blake Martinez, right? Do we like him? Yeah. Booker would have been, and then of course Gettleman has to sign off on those signings when maybe they say, okay, if we want a running back. So this offseason they said, hey, we need to get a veteran running back. Okay. Well, they all got together. They sat in a room just like a board meeting and said, all right, here's our 3 or 4 guys that we think we can get. And Booker was at the top of the list because they signed him on the first day of free agency. And to be honest with you, I think he's been a great pickup. We just haven't used him enough. And he's
Kenny Golladay?
No, Booker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I like the way he runs the ball, and I know for a fact the offensive line really likes blocking for him.
You can make the argument that he's been way better than Barkley.
Well, I've said that. I'm on record saying that.
Okay.
And it's not that I don't think Saquon can ever come back, but I just think right now where he's at in his recovery mentally and physically, because in my opinion, I think more players have ended their careers with the fact that they can't perform, more mental injuries than physical injuries, right? You lose confidence, your performance anxiety, things like that. Saquon will hopefully find it again. He's going to be back next year for sure, unless they find a trade partner. But Booker's your guy. Just let him, I almost think, I know they won't sit Saquon, and Saquon's not going to raise his hand and say, yeah, I want to miss these last 2 games, but he's healthy enough. He's not going to go into the offseason with some big surgery that we know of. and he can go focus on himself, get his mind right again, and come back next year and be the guy we all think he can be. But, man, the mental part of this game is grueling. Like when you lose confidence, and he clearly has it can weigh on you. And it's obviously weighing on him because he's trying to do too much. He's not the same player. He doesn't want contact. He's not. There was a play early in the Eagles game Sunday where I saw he got bottled up. He ran right into the back of the guard in the center. And when he was getting pushed back, watch him. He lifts his right leg up, right? And hops on his left leg because that was his ACL leg. If I'm right? When it was the right leg, I believe. I mean,
I'm almost certain that you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that just tells me, man, there's just mentally he's not over it yet.
Well, no, the other problem with Saquon, though, is after he gets the ball, his first step is east and west. Devontae Booker is north right away.
South.
So
he doesn't have that kind of skill set that Saquon does where you can 1 out of 100 take the ball the distance. Booker knows who he is.
Right.
And he runs. And I think, listen, what was our best 3-game stretch this year? It was Oakland, Carolina, Kansas City. Even though we lost, I was here. They played well. Who was the running back?
Devontae Booker.
Because Saquon was out. And I think that's the best 3-game stretch we had this year. When he was the focus. And he's a good receiver out of the backfield too. Yeah. This guy's a solid, he's not the home run guy. He's not what a healthy Saquon is, but right now Saquon is dealing with more than just physical, it's mental.
He filled in for Josh Jacobs in Oakland very well last year.
And and very well. And I'm not down on I'm down on Saquon just because of the way he's played this year, but I still think he can find it. I just believe in him so much as a person that he'll find it.
Why do you, and I ask you, Lawrence, why do you think that the teams that you were on with the Giants were so successful in winning Super Bowls? Like what was it about that those teams had that this team doesn't have? And I know you're on the outside looking in on this team.
They have Lawrence Tynes, obviously.
No, I know. Yeah. I know it. I know what the answer.
Besides me, we had unbelievable coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Okay. And look at our roster. Our first Super Bowl team, 1 Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. The second one, what was there? JPP and maybe 1 other.
Oh, well, Eli definitely that year.
Eli.
Yeah.
That's it.
Victor Cruz. No.
Great.
I don't know if he made it that year, but it really coaching. Obviously, I can get into all the camaraderie and things like that, but like the coaching was so superior, the plan, the belief. And then listen, let's not get this twisted. We had a quarterback, guys. We had a guy we believed in that we could win any game with. The Giants don't have that. They don't have a quarterback. This is a quarterback-driven league, and until they start believing in Jones, and he performs to where they believe in him, it's hard, man. You got to have a quarterback.
Tynes, let me ask you a question, though, because you said earlier about Daniel Jones and about replacing him if he's not a top 10 guy.
I think you're always going to.
Pardon?
I think you're always going to try to, right? Yeah, that's what.
Right, but Eli wasn't really that guy either. Eli, for his career, was kind of
10?
a 2-1.
I think he was top 10.
I think he was top 10 the whole time. He'd have some.
But nobody gave him that respect.
Eli, if you go back and look at Eli's stats, he's like top 5 in touchdowns almost every year. Even at the beginning of his career, people don't realize that because they see the 23, 24 touchdowns when they look back. But that was top 5 in touchdown passes.
Oh man, I'd take Eli Manning in any playoff game over
any
a lot of
game.
Over anybody.
A lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Now he had some stinkers just like any other player did, but he had some wow moments, right? Where 4 picks against the Vikings, 3 pick sixes. You're just like, what? But you knew come playoff time that he could win you the game. The thing is, he had so much command of the offense, right? Same coaches, that's important. Gilbride and obviously the offensive line, but you just don't see a presence with Daniel yet. And it's because of all of the moving parts, right? It was Shermer, and now it's Garrett, and then it's Kitchens, and then who the hell is it going to be next year? But, when you go to the line, I don't see a presence of Dan. You know what I'm saying? Walking up there, like, there's just not that. Yeah. It's almost like he's like, I got to run the play that's called.
He's almost like robotic to me.
And I think they've made him that way.
I agree. I think a lot of it.
We go back to the micromanaging of and I really do believe in Joe Judge to some extent, but I do think he's a micromanager. I think he has his hands in every single phase of this team, and I think that wears on people. And I think he's just this new staff. Hopefully, they're not going to be people he really knows. They're going to be people that come in and want to earn the job on their own merits. And he just says, "All right, I'm gonna let you coach. Because
one thing I fear though, Lawrence, as a Giants fan, is that Daniel will go somewhere else and be that great quarterback.
I know.
Don't you just feel like to me? Like, I mean,
He
to
could.
me,
He
yeah.
could.
I mean,
and you don't think Shermer would scoop him up wherever he's at?
oh, so I mean, so you think Shermer really liked him?
Oh my God!
I'm not saying I don't believe that he didn't, but
Absolutely
you just believe that he really liked him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
let me ask you. I'm curious to get your take on this, Lawrence. The feeling that I get with Judge, especially because he wasn't here when they drafted Jones, I don't know. You know, obviously to the press, he's going to say that he believes in all of his players. We know that. For God's sakes, he said he believes in Nate Solder. But based off the way that Judge operates with how conservative this offense is, do you think that's really Joe Judge's nature? Or do you think if he had, say, a quarterback like Justin Herbert, like a quarterback that he thought he could really trust in, do you think he would operate the way he does? Because the vibes I get, especially with how conservative he is, we talked about that when it's 4th and 1. You see the Washington football team. I watch them on Monday Night Football on their own 45. They're going for it on 4th and 2 with Heineke. I just get the feeling that Joe Judge does not believe in Daniel Jones.
I don't think you're wrong. Obviously, he praises his toughness a lot, and we can all respect that. But at the same time, I mean, Joe Judge was with Tom Brady in New England.
Yeah.
So I think his vision of the quarterback position is not what he sees when he sees Daniel in terms of, ability. So I don't know, but I also can go back and say, well, maybe he's the perfect guy for Joe Judge because, like I said, I think Joe Judge wants to win 16-13 every Sunday.
But would he want to win 16-13 if he had Justin Herbert?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe he wants to win 16-13 because he doesn't truly believe in his quarterback.
No, he's coaching to his personnel.
He's coaching not to lose.
Yeah. He's coaching not to lose because we don't have that guy at the quarterback position that you can say, go win us a football game.
He doesn't believe in him.
Can I ask you this too? What would, and I don't know if you know this answer, but what would Tom Coughlin say to Daniel Jones? What do you think he would say to him? If you're right about what you're saying, what do you think he would say to him?
Like right now, or like
I mean, just in general, like about if you're saying that he doesn't have the confidence, like it's between the ears kind of deal. What do you think? Did Tom ever have those moments, at least that you saw with Eli, or is there something that Daniel could use? Guys,
you have to have success in this league to have confidence, and they haven't had it. So confidence is built through success.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had. What is he going to hang his hat on? Like they've.
But don't you think it would be helpful if a guy that had success was to tell him, "Look, you can play in this league. You can absolutely play." Like maybe I don't know if Jason Garrett they were trying to do that.
But it's one thing to say that. But you keep going out there and losing. I mean, you got to see results, right?
Coaching staff has ruined them.
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the head. I mean, it's almost like the Derek Carr syndrome, right? David Carr, sorry. David Carr was actually a pretty good player, but he went to Houston and got his face beat in for 5 years.
70 times his rookie year or something like that?
And Daniel has experienced similar the last 2 years of getting his face kicked in. And, man, that weighs on you. You're human. You can only – that's why he's so skittish in that pocket, even though sometimes there's no one there. It's just, 330-pound D lineman coming to take your head off. It's a big deal.
We even saw it with Eli at the end of his career when he had Eric Flowers as his blindside protector.
Yeah.
We saw that he
Once
had
you get hit a couple times, man, it's there. It's just gonna be. It's hard.
Hey guys, Jason Garrett's son is now here. By the way, welcome,
Nikki Sachs, friend of the Blue Rush podcast.
I am. What's up, Snack? Yes. All right. How are you guys? It's very good to see you, Chris, MAJ, Lawrence Tynes.
What's up?
Thank you for everything.
You got it.
Culp, how are you, buddy?
What's up, Snacks? How are you?
It's good to see
But
you.
we could all agree that Daniel Jones has a incomplete grade because of all the shit. Like, what is it? It's just shit.
Set up the fail.
But if he's, you're not saying he's damaged goods. I get what you're saying.
I'm saying he's damaged goods.
I get what you're saying, but I'm leaning towards that he is because
if he's not damaged goods yet, then you need to get the coach in before he becomes damaged goods. And if he is,
Listen,
do you just move on and keep Joe? And move on from Daniel
in 2022.
No. I'm saying like as far as the future.
We got. I think next year is so pivotal. But I've said this on my show is like, what's the one thing that makes Daniel good is running ability, right? It makes him a complimentary or an average quarterback, NFL quarterback. Yeah. You take that away from him with this neck injury, and he is below average, guys.
Yeah, but you have to take the running.
You have to take it away.
Well, I mean, he continuously gets hurt when he leaves the pocket.
You could tell he obviously wasn't a baseball player. I don't know that, but because he doesn't throw from any other angle except right here. Like you don't ever see him roll out.
He's robotic.
You don't see him shoot it through the guard and the tackle. Like these throws that are there, he just doesn't. So he wasn't a base. I think he's a good straight line athlete, but he's not a Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a freak.
Let me ask you this too, Lawrence. I personally felt like Dave Gettleman and the Giants drafted Daniel because they reminded him of Eli. Do you believe that at all?
Sure. I mean, yeah, he looks like everything he does is similar to Eli, other than he runs faster than Eli. I mean, he talks like him. He looks like him. He's tough like him. He obviously doesn't stay healthy like Eli did, which is the biggest, thing on his resume. But Eli was a natural quarterback, though. Let's not get that twisted. Like Eli understood coverage. He understood defenses. He understood what defenses were trying to do to him.
Quarterback loyalty.
And we also can't, discount the fact that, well, maybe Daniel Jones was really good his rookie year because he had Eli Manning in his huddle all week. People forget that Eli was there with him that whole season, saying, hey, this is what you need to look for. He doesn't have that guy on the roster. It sure as hell is not Mike Glennon.
Oh,
and it's not Fromm.
But Eli's in the building though, Tynes. And obviously they
have
a relationship.
but
there's got to be a difference on the field.
Eli is not anything to do with football. Yeah, unless they're going to compensate him for him.
He's going out with Bill Murray.
I saw it. Yeah, he was up with Bill Murray today. But Eli is completely removed because once you go down that rabbit hole, he knows he's going to get caught and he's going to become a coach, and he probably doesn't want to do that with his family. So he doesn't go down there. There's no way he goes down there.
He called the game. He wasn't even there. He called the game when we played on Monday night. So
yeah. So I think that's another big issue too. Is like he doesn't have that guy with him, and of course I think Shermer's offense was a little bit better.
Yep.
Obviously we had some better. You could argue whether we were better or not, but I think I like Shermer's offense a whole lot better than the Clappers.
Well, he ran more of a West Coast offense, which I think fits Daniel Jones' skill set.
Right.
Well, that's what worries me about Daniel is like he's going to go to somewhere like Shermer or just a West Coast offense where he is going to shine, and then it's almost like.
So would you take a 3rd round pick for Daniel this offseason?
This offseason, I wouldn't.
Not for $8
I mean,
million.
honestly, Lawrence, I feel like that I've watched the Giants go through transition years before where they went out and got a guy like, for example, Kerry Collins, right? Yep. They built up their team. They got it right. And then, Kerry obviously was coming through his own hardships, so he had to prove himself. But they were able to do things without having the quote-unquote franchise quarterback. I don't feel like this team deserves right now to have a franchise quarterback because we're trying to have a guy learn how to play in the National Football League while trying to build this team. And you can't – I don't feel like it's too much for this organization to handle at once. And to me, I think the way they should go about doing it is go and re-get your Kerry Collins, get a guy like him, build that offensive line, and then when that's ready, then go get your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, but it's cheaper to keep her right now.
No, I understand. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think you got to keep him.
I get that. I'm just saying.
I'm also going to disagree with what you said, Pizzle. Now, this draft, I think I agree with you because everybody's saying it's not a rich quarterback draft class. So I'm siding with sticking with Jones. But I don't care what your team is like. If there is a no-doubt quarterback, you always take him. I don't care what you look at the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow. Their team was horrible. If there's a no-doubt quarterback, you always take him. But
yeah, no, I agree with
draft, I agree with you.
So I got 2 points, and I want to present a question. So my first point is, if you're keeping Daniel Jones this season, I think you got to bring in a guy that's going to groom him, or you got to try everything that you can to get the most out of Daniel Jones this last season. Guy like Pep Hamilton, or even a guy like Jay Gruden, but I don't see him being a Joe Judge type of guy.
What is Pep Hamilton's role in Houston? Is he the quarterback coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can give him the coordinator job, that would be.
And David
Mills looks good.
David Mills
He's
looks
also
great.
worked with Justin Herbert, I believe.
David Mills actually reminds me a little bit of Daniel.
And then my other question, though, I'll present to the group. I know everybody doesn't want a quarterback in the first round. What if a guy like Carson Strong or Ritter or Malik Willis falls to the second?
Man, you know who I love in this draft? Like second, third round? That kid, that Zappy kid from Western Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are talking about him.
Like 55 touchdowns or something like that.
60 plus, whatever he broke Burrow's record. You know, he again, but then you know, we've all seen that guy. Then he comes to the league. You have to have arm talent, which Daniel has. Like it's obviously. Here's a perfect example. Jake Fromm, right? Won a ton of games in college football. We couldn't throw a football outside the numbers on Sunday, guys. He can't make that throw. And you're not out there with better players. You know, everyone's the same. That's why I'm saying, like, the Zappy kid, it was all timing. It was college DBs. As much as I like him late, like maybe like third, fourth round, not anything early, because I don't think he's going to be a first. Maybe someone takes him in the second. He's almost like a Gardner Minshew, right? Like he can win you some games, but he'll have some stinkers.
The Giants need a good backup quarterback anyway.
So my guy, I would go sign and give him whatever he wants for, you know, maybe even a 1-year prove it deal is Marcus Mariota. That would be my guy because he, you know, with the offensive line and kind of transition, hopefully they're better. I hope to God they are. But he gives you kind of a similar skill set. I think way more athletic than Daniel, and he can win you some games. Mariota had some success early in Tennessee, and I think he's ready to go play somewhere. 1-year deal, maybe void the second, and then see.
Mariota is a name that I mentioned too. I also like it because he's going to be a free agent.
There's not a whole lot available.
Here's my.
I think he needs the right system though. Also,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
and you Mariota,
you got to marry him with the right coordinator too.
Think about Mariota's perspective though. Why would he want to come to the Giants? Because he's looking at it like a 1 year. Well, yeah, but there's going to be another team probably that's willing to pay him, and the Giants situation is just bad.
I'm just trying to think. You know, I'm just trying to think across the league off the top of my head.
Saints.
I can't.
How about the Saints?
I don't think that's not what Sean Payton wants.
Well, there was another guy too, kind of to Lawrence Tynes' thought about Marcus Mariota. This offseason, I wanted Mitch Trubisky to be the backup quarterback.
That's another good one.
He was a starting quarterback for a playoff team. He had a good system. Yes, I get it. System means a lot, but I can almost guarantee you that Mitch Trubisky being under center for these last few games would give us a better chance than Mike Glennon or Jake Fromm could ever give us. Absolutely,
yeah.
And
one thing with the Eagles, guys, how did Gardner Minshew just like fall through the ranks and get traded for like a 5th-round pick? When look at the guy's numbers. I mean, why was it Minshew in the building, bro? I'm serious.
They're a savvy organization. We did not use the resources.
They recognized the value of a backup quarterback.
Exactly. And
we traded the same round pick for Keon Crossan that they did for Gardner
Minshew. Hold on. Tynes, I want to ask you this then, because you played for the New York Giants. My opinion on why you don't trade for a guy like Gardner Minshew is because they believe in Danny so much they don't want to create that quarterback controversy.
I think there's some truth to that. I really think that they have a little bit coddled him to some degree.
If they see him as Eli, which was like another son to John.
Yeah, I just think they've coddled him a little bit. I would have definitely this year for sure try to get a Trubisky or try to get a guy, a Foles. I don't know if he was available. Maybe he was or wasn't.
No.
But Mike Glennon, I mean.
Colt McCoy was a better option at how much more? Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I do know for a fact that Colt wanted to come back. And
he went into Seattle, not a difficult place to go and play, and he won a game. We were in the Cleveland game, a couple bad bounces, bad breaks. We could be in that game too.
Yeah, we did it with like a 45-year-old running back too. It was amazing.
Right, exactly. So the emphasis on a backup quarterback is so stupid to me. It's not. It's just you need a backup quarterback, especially with a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who's been hurt his first year and a half in the season or in his career. And then you look at the Jets with Zach Wilson. They did not want anybody coming in and even remotely competing with him. They wanted him to take the reins, and that's it. He had nobody to learn from. Nobody. He had, couldn't even tell you his backup quarterback from week 1, and he looked completely lost. With a guy like Daniel Jones who's been hurt, a backup quarterback actually becomes very valuable. So to me, like a Colt McCoy who knew the offense, who knew how to win games with the team, I don't understand why they thought getting rid of him and bringing Mike Glennon in was a smart decision.
Colt was a really good influence in that.
Yeah, and he's a
the
professional.
meeting room, because I don't know much about Mike Glennon. I was with him for a brief period of time in Tampa when he was a rookie, but he's just not a very good player. That's just, obviously we've seen that.
Right. And I'm not saying like Colt McCoy's like Joe Montana, but he is clearly
but I think the biggest
look what he's done with Arizona this year.
Thank you. So like look at if you go look at
Arizona's got a really good system.
Yeah, and look at the 2 games or 3 games he started. I mean, he threw for like almost 300 yards one game. Like he didn't even sniff that because we didn't let him throw the ball. It was all Alfred Morris, Wayne Gallman, Alfred Morris, and then a couple of pop passes. I'm telling you, that is a coaching staff that they don't want to put the ball in anyone's hands. They want to control what they think they know is going to help them win the game, and I think it's a real problem. You got to go let players play, and I think they've kind of handcuffed this entire team. Now the offense stinks. The scheme stinks. Everything's bad. I saw a bunch of plays this weekend watching the All-22. I mean, they're literally running RPOs with Jake Fromm. Had he kept it, there was a lot of times where, you're just envisioning every time I watched it, I'm like, because the end is crashing down on Saquon or Booker every time because it's Jake Fromm. But they're running these RPOs, and I'm like, if that was Daniel, sure they would have respected the run a little more. But it just shows to show you, like, why run an RPO type play? I don't know. It's mind-boggling.
It's funny because when Joe Judge came here, he actually said it backwards, but he's not going to put square pegs into round holes. And that's exactly what they're doing with this team.
And he's not playing the best player in the backfield either. I mean, Booker should be starting.
Personnel.
There we go.
It doesn't.
There we go.
But whether it's Saquon Barkley we're talking about, the second pick of the draft, the Giants, touched by the hand of God, I think that's why they keep trotting him out there as a starter. But I think in their heart they know that Booker gives them a better chance right now to win. I would make an executive decision if I was John Mara on, I would let Saquon practice all this week, and then when we got to Chicago, I would tell him Sunday morning, you're not playing. Only because I want to protect him from anything crazy happening this week or next week and let him go into the offseason and get his mind right. Because we all know he can come back and be a good player. He just needs to get his mind right. And he needs to go into a season with no big injuries, which if he doesn't play, he's not going to get hurt, hopefully. And I just think, it gives him the best chance to kind of reload for 2022 because you guys seen him. I mean, you guys know his press conferences are depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays,
he's checked out. He's checked out.
He's going through a funk, man. Every player has them, and he's not immune to it.
And to me, I mean, I don't think we will. We haven't seen the 2018 rookie season Barkley, but before he stepped a fluke injury, stepping on a Cowboy's ankle and twisting his ankle, he was looking good. Look at that Saints game. He was doing Barkley things that we all expect of him. And then that fluke injury happened. So that's got to be.
That was almost in my mind worse. That was almost worse than the ACL.
Honestly, yeah, because
in a weird way, because
he was finally coming back into his own, and then all of a sudden you got that fluke injury that you don't do, and then boom, that's done.
Did you see how hard he celebrated after he scored that reception?
Oh, he was so pumped. Yeah.
Because it was like, this is all off of me now.
Yeah.
And then he goes to freaking Dallas, and that I almost think in some ways that sprains suck because they linger and it's probably still bothering him. That was almost worse than ACL, and it sucks. But
yeah, you can't do it, especially a running back with his agile abilities.
You can't do anything for
him.
Do
anything, yeah.
I want to ask you a separate question. What do you make of the John Mara's Carpenter? What do we think about Daniel Jones? Is he going to play next year? Is it more serious? I mean, from your perspective as a pro football player.
Yeah, if they've ruled out surgery, he's going to be fine. But, it is structural. So that scares me because Daniel Jones is a runner. And that's what makes him, who he is and who we like. And if he can't run, guys, I'm sorry. He's just a guy. Now, can he become a pure pocket passer? I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's Eli Manning in the pocket.
Yeah, he lacks the awareness.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't understand, defenses right now, which he could, but he's a runner. And
in year 3, I would think you start understanding defenses a little bit better.
I can tell he was way better this year in terms of, but I still hate that he throws. It's almost like he throws the ball when the receivers are already out of their break, because you see a lot of balls that are almost picked or deflected. A lot of guys will throw that ball before he turns.
So let me ask you a question now. Jason Garrett's offense featured options. Was that because the wide receivers had no idea? Is this the reason why we saw so many curl routes last year? Because all the wide receivers said, I don't know which option to take here. Is that why he's throwing the ball late? Because he's waiting on
who said they had? Did someone say? Did someone say they have options when they run routes?
Jason Garrett's offense features option routes, the Y option mostly.
I know on Gilbride's offense. I mean, you talk to those guys. Holy cow! You could run like 3 different things.
Can I just Kevin? We used to kill Kevin Gilbride like back in the day, like a shotgun draw, ready to go.
Oh yeah,
always in the arsenal.
They call it kill drive.
Tynes, I tell you, I would kill for Kevin Gilbride's offense right now.
Everyone would.
That was always so incredible to me.
The run and shoot.
That was always so incredible to me with those teams, though, with Eli and with the receivers, because like you said, they had like 3 different options on every one of their routes. So for them to be in tune the way that they were, specifically in that 2011 season, always blew my mind, because that requires you have to be able to trust your wide receivers to think the way that you're thinking.
So basically, like, there's no play that won't work if you really think about it, right? And I don't know, something will always be there if you guys are all on the same page, right? Yeah. Depending on the coverage, and you guys have the trust, and Eli had the trust, and obviously Eli spent a great deal of time with those wideouts, but I don't see that here. And obviously availability is a huge issue. There's so many guys hurt. It's just, and I don't know that we were tougher than these teams, but man, guys played hurt all the time. And you just don't.
You can't target Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney 3 times in the Tampa Bay game.
No,
they're your top 2 wide receivers. They can't combine for 3 targets.
Man, if you guys listen, I like the Golladay signing, but go watch the film, man. The guy is not open.
Lazy.
He's not open.
So I maybe I'm wrong, because I don't watch it in depth like that, but I see somebody that just doesn't.
Now, would an Eli throw to a Golladay? Yes, Eli would have enough faith to kind of. But I just think with these young quarterbacks and some of these bad quarterbacks we have, they're not willing to put the ball up there to Golladay so he can go.
When Kenny signed with the Giants, I thought. I'm sorry, Pizzle. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I thought Golladay would be like Eli's Plaxico. Or for Jones. That's what I envisioned. That big body receiver going up and getting it. And that's exactly what it comes down to. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But I also don't think that like Jones has the wherewithal to see the defense and see what's going on with Golladay on the outside or anything. And he sees his first read, and maybe he's gun shy because he's got a bad offensive line. I get that. I understand it. But at some point, you're going to have to take hits, and you're going to have to stand in there, and you're going to have to throw it to your best receiver that's 11 yards down the field for a first down, as opposed to a 2-yard out route on 3rd and 7. It's all very frustrating. System, quarterback, line, receiver route, and combinations, everything. I'm getting agita thinking about it.
Let me ask you this, Lawrence. Do you think Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that Matthew Stafford made Kenny Golladay what he is then? Do you think?
Yeah.
Because So then we got a Kenny Golladay thinking that we were getting somebody that really wasn't that.
What I will say to that though, and I agree. Obviously, Stafford benefited Golladay. If you go back and look at the year that Golladay led the league in touchdown catches, Stafford only played 7 games that year. He got hurt.
Right.
The backup quarterback
yes.
8 touchdowns in the last 8 games with whoever. I don't even remember the backup quarterback's name was.
David Blau was one of them. I forget who.
Blau got some burn.
Yeah, Lawrence is saying that Kenny Golladay is not open. And
but he's not. He's never been.
He's never been a big separation guy.
Right. He's a contested catch guy. You got to use him more downfield with the go routes, which, again, Daniel Jones last year led the league in downfield passing. Why did they not target him on deeper?
Man, something changed on this team after that New Orleans game. And obviously it was the Saquon injury. And then, because Kadarius Toney went off in Dallas, right, for 180. And then the Saints game, something happened. Like, it's weird. Andrew Thomas was locking down that defensive end for the Saints in that game.
Well, we lost
Everything.
Andrew Thomas too.
And we lost him shortly after that. But something, I don't know, something's internally wrong, or
you know what happened? Something was working, and we didn't like the look of that. So we just said, what? This is working, guys. We got to go away from this.
It really was, because if you think about the game Galladay had and then in New Orleans and then Tony and Dallas, I mean, that's exactly what you thought this team was. And then all of a sudden, since then, it has been invisible. Like, it hasn't been seen again.
And Galladay had fight that game. I mean, he fought for some of those catches. I mean, you saw.
Well, he's a guy you got to get the ball to early, right? Otherwise, he's going to shut it down, just like any receiver.
You're not a good friend of mine in the chat, Phil, said, listen, with your game plan, when you come out, listen, you throw the ball to Galladay 3-4 times in a row to open that game up, and you establish dominance and show that you cannot cover a guy like that. And I want to just defer to the chat a little bit, because you guys have been with us for almost 3 hours now, and we had a couple questions here I want to get into. One I know for Lawrence that I thought was really awesome, and it was something. Eli. It was something to the extent of, did Eli realistically have a few good years left if we had given him the support we should have? From Carlos Sanchez. What do you think about that, LT?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I left in 2012, so 2012 was my last season. So what did he play? 13. He played a lot longer after I left.
5-6 more years.
I don't know. I thought they should have drafted a quarterback a whole lot earlier than they did. So I'll just say that.
Hey, Tynes, actually, a couple people
asked.
Though,
with Webb Davis, didn't they try?
Davis, yeah, but third round.
Fourth, yeah, I mean they try. I mean they have.
I'm saying they should have went first round quarterback and let somebody sit behind Eli for 2 or 3 years.
Brian Nassib, they had.
Unless you step in shit with like a Russell Wilson or Dak Prescott.
They've never invested any draft capital. They never invested any draft capital in quarterbacks.
The chat also asked earlier times, can you punt?
No.
Because we're looking to get rid of Riley.
There's no glory in punting.
I do have a question for Lawrence that he.
No
what's the deal with the? Do you have any opinion about the Giants' field at all? I'm not. It's not a conspiracy.
Injuries.
Thing, that and it's they had a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year. The 49ers came in. They played back-to-back games. This field's terrible. It's like they got swept under the rug. I know you played at Old Giant Stadium and whatnot. Like, does it have anything to do with anything at all?
Well, when they built the new stadium, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had sod, correct?
No,
not at MetLife. They did it. They did it at Giant Stadium.
Okay, I thought it was actual sod.
I want to know, Lauren. Do you know anything? I mean, do you have an opinion on it at all? Like, because
I think field turf and kickers love field turf, right? Because it's like hitting from the fairway. So, but I would, a lot of guys prefer grass. So.
And they never dug up Jimmy Hoffa when they burned down.
Exactly. So, but I think turf in general is just bad for guys, even the field turf.
Yeah.
Like it's just, your legs get caught, your cleats get caught. Grass, you see a lot of, the AFC West is literally all grass. Raiders, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Actually, now the Chargers are back in.
But can't you have some type of home field advantage, like Giant Stadium having the field that it had? Wasn't there some type of home field advantage when the weather got nasty? Instead you have this turf where it's just nice and everybody has the same thing, and you take away some of that grass. I know it's always good regardless, but what I'm saying.
The guy kicked a rock in 2000.
Doesn't it take something away?
You're a fan of grass.
I love grass.
You want grass. Okay, so that's what we're getting.
I'm a big. I just think football's better played on grass.
Big Saturday afternoon lawnmower.
Yeah, I'm a big grass guy.
Get the stripes ready for Sunday. You're putting the NY logo.
I hate field turf.
He's got the NY logo in his yard.
Absolutely.
I listen. Grass is good, but as a kicker, like October, November, December, give me that turf. Because that grass gets chewed up. I hate it kicking.
Do you think it's causing any injuries though?
Turf.
This current field is it causing any? Is there a reason why Shepard?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, there's been injuries everywhere, so I wouldn't.
Everybody who's been injured gets injured all the time. Go ahead.
I've actually played at MetLife. The turf seems to be no different than any other field, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like normal field. Now there's some of the turfs are softer than the others, like spongier, but like it's all the same shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark Mitchell just asked, for the group, does anyone have any faith in Mara's ability to turn this shit show around?
Sure. I don't know. I mean, we wouldn't be here if we didn't think they did.
Yeah. I mean, I'll answer that question in 2 weeks when I see what they do in terms of the general manager search and everything else. I personally want an outsider, and we'll see. But yeah, of course I have some faith that they could turn it around. I think that the last couple of years it's been a complete disaster, but in the NFL, the beauty of it is things could turn around real fast. If you get the right guy in here, it could go from a shit show to a great situation within 2 years. So, yeah, I mean, we've won Super Bowls before. Do I think eventually the Giants will be back on top? Yes. It's why we still love our team. It's why we still believe in our team. But I think that Mara, at least in recent years, and maybe Lawrence disagrees with me, but it's just my opinion, in recent years, I think Mara has stepped in a little bit too much. I thought in 2015 they should have completely blown it up. After they fired Coughlin, I thought it was a mistake to keep Reese. I thought they should have gotten rid of both, started from scratch then. Personally, I thought Mara made a bad decision then. 2019, when you fired Pat, which I wouldn't have because you drafted Daniel to fit into a scheme, but once you fired Pat, I would have fired Gettleman. I would have started from scratch. I think he's done too much of one and not the other. I think he needs to do it the right way this time. He cannot force Joe Judge on whichever GM he brings in. Now, if the GM likes Joe Judge, keep him, but I'm not forcing Joe Judge on that guy. But yes, I do have faith because
here's my opinion on that.
It's a quick turnover rate.
Here's my opinion on that, Tanner. So seemingly everybody's in agreement that John Mara forced Jason Garrett on Joe Judge.
Yep. So, and I also think he forced Eli Manning on Dave Gettleman. So he only hired Dave Gettleman because he was willing to.
Agreed. 100%. I was there.
To me, though,
he also did not. I'm sorry, Maj. Hold on. He did not cast a wide search for general manager that year. So I think those guys were either all in agreement that it would happen, or Dave just really had the voice of the room that he was there for a long time. But yes, I do agree, Chris.
So here's the thing with Jason Garrett. So obviously Joe Judge wanted him gone. John Mara finally conceded that. So if he's conceding any power to anybody, I want it to be Joe Judge because he comes with an outside perspective. He's worked under Nick Saban. He's worked with Bill Belichick. If Joe Judge is going to be responsible for making some of these decisions, then I'm okay with that. Let a person with a football pedigree or football background make some of these decisions. I don't think it needs to be Steve Tisch, who, I mean, is worried about Hollywood. John Mara, they're not going to bring in a consultant firm. They brought in Ernie Accorsi last time when we hired Dave Gettleman. But let Joe Judge make this decision. Let him bring in the GM that he wants to work with them. As long as it's not John Mara making this decision, I believe John Mara wants to win. I mean, it would be ridiculous for him not to, but I don't think he knows how to win. That's the problem. And the last time that this team had any success, Wellington Mara was the owner and Ernie Accorsi was the GM. And we know that the NFL even stepped in and, you know, Ernie Accorsi was put on Wellington Mara. So, I mean, if Joe Judge needs to be the one making the decision.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. George Young was put on.
George Young.
Sorry. Yeah.
Just so you know.
We know what you're saying. But my question is, I like Joe Judge. I do. I don't think. I think right now he feels in over his head. But the draft selections and the offseason, everything has looked better the 2 years that he's been there. The product on the field obviously has not been there, and the progress and the development that I thought would be there after year one is not there. But I don't think that Joe Judge should have any say in who the general manager is. He has not showed – he was a special teams coordinator for New England.
And here's the other thing I'm going to say, Nikki, because I hear what you – I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking about it as you were talking. I hear that all the time. People say the draft classes have been so much better since Joe Judge has gotten here. I don't know if that's true because I'm going to tell you what did we say in 2019 after a year with the 2018 draft class? Saquon Barkley looks great. He won Rookie of the Year. Lorenzo Carter finished really strong. He looks like he's got a lot of potential. B.J. Hill just set the rookie sack record. He looks great. So I need to see two or three more years before.
And Chris, and I agree with that completely. But I'm also considering the fact that like Andrew Thomas is a franchise left
Oh,
tackle.
Thomas was a slam dunk pick.
Right, and that's the second most important position in football. So that's
was
huge.
a slam dunk pick. I was
Xavier McKinney, who fell to them in the second round, was just this close to the Pro Bowl. I think Aaron Robinson this year looks like no, you're right. Absolutely, you're right. I think the overall process of everything since Joe Judge got here is a lot better than it was prior to him being here. Maybe that's what I should have said instead of saying the players they selected.
The one difference
I think
that
the process of what they did in trading back, I know we could have taken Slater or Parsons. I get that. But now you're looking at 2 top 10 picks. So that's really nice too.
Forget the draft, though. I think the biggest imprint that Joe Judge has had is the Giants have never worked the waiver wire like they have under Joe Judge.
A bit aggressive.
I mean, bringing in players like Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is the best linebacker we have on this team right now.
Hey, that could be the steal. That could be a really big steal. I tweeted that the other day. That dude, him with Blake in the middle.
And no disrespect to
the same thing. The one thing that the Giants have missed is a coverage linebacker. The one thing that Jalen Smith is really good at is coverage from the linebacker position.
He's physical, man. He's led the Cowboys in tackles the last 2 or 3 years.
I mean, could you make this argument that Dave Gettleman actually has done a good job, but the coaching staff has failed him?
No.
You can't make that case at all.
Get the offensive line, man.
Well, I see it, Lawrence.
I just come back to talk on this damn show.
Oh, by the way,
let me talk for a second.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm sitting here silent the whole time.
Go ahead.
The supplemental pick, the Sam Beal pick.
No, I get that. Look, there's some that he's made.
See, I can't even get a word in here.
Terrible. I get it. I hated the Ogletree. I didn't love the Jonathan Stewart. I get all that. But there's been some good players that he's brought in. I'm just saying, can you make the case that the coaching staff has failed with his groceries? They haven't cooked.
I mean, they're all guilty.
Both.
I'm just saying though.
They're all guilty. They're all
I get that. I get that.
Dave, what do you got to say, Dave?
I was listening to WFAN. You guys hear me? Am I right? Am I still here?
We can hear you.
I was listening to WFAN the other day, and a not too popular writer who I actually am not mad at, Ryan Dunleavy, was on with Lori Rubenstein. And he mentioned a potential solution for the whole GM situation. He said, there's 2 ways we can do it. We could put in a placeholder for this year, right, which will probably be Abrams or Kyle O'Brien, right? And they basically take over as GM for Gettleman.
If we're doing a placeholder, make Joe Judge the GM.
Well, whatever it is.
I agree with that.
Make him the GM.
Now if next year we fail, right, that placeholder GM is gone, Judge is gone, Jones is gone, clean slate. However, if we do go on the outside to pick up a John Dorsey type or a Scott Pioli type or whatever.
I don't know how outside that is, but
2022 is year 0 for that GM. Why? Because basically that GM comes in, doesn't get to pick his quarterback, doesn't get to pick his coach.
So that's assuming Judge stays. We don't know that.
Let's just say Judge stays, Jones stays, right?
I think he will stay.
We fail. This year will be looked at, 2022 for that new GM will be looked at as year 0. Mm-hmm. Basically, they get a pass. And their year 1 will be 2023 when that GM from the outside gets to pick his own head coach and gets to draft his own quarterback or acquire his own quarterback. And I think those 2 ideas make by far the most sense. In my humble opinion, as the current GM of Giants Twitter and soon to be former GM
for 2 weeks.
Everything.
For 2 more weeks.
For me, Dave, it's option number 2 is the better option. I'm going to tell you why. This draft is way too important for me to have a placeholder GM. I want to get the best talent evaluator I possibly can. I have 2 picks for sure in the top 10, potentially 2 picks in like the top 7. I've got 5 picks in the top 85. It's too important of a draft for me to have a placeholder GM. So for me, the better option is 2, and I'm fine with keeping Judge. I am. I just don't want Judge to influence the guy that I bring in. I don't want him to prevent me from bringing in the best GM possible. But if I get a really good GM, I'm fine with it. The Jets did it with Joe Douglas. They got rid of Adam Gase the next year. Joe Douglas, by all accounts, doing a really good job with the Jets. But for me, option 2 is by far the better option.
Yep. And you, Chris, you literally said everything I was about to say. You cannot have like a lame duck GM. And arguably, this is a very important offseason for the Giants. Yes, there's no cap space.
Which is a reason why I don't think Kevin Abrams wants a job.
Well, Kevin Abrams shouldn't have the job. Sorry, Tynes. I'm sorry. I know you said, but he should not have.
I'm okay with that. Listen, I just think he's a guy that deserves mention. I didn't necessarily say he's entrenched and should be the guy.
Yes,
I like stirring the pot too. So I know how to work.
I listened. I listened to the show. I listened to what you had to say, and I get it. I know what you're saying. If you're going to do it one more year, because we all know Gettleman's gone. Yeah. So if you're going to do it, might as well have a 1 year. I get that. But this offseason, with this draft class, with 6 picks in the top 100, we need to have we need new blood in here right now, immediately. And again, I know like my friend Will, he is Joe Judge. Like he loves Joe Judge. Will thinks Joe Judge is like the second coming. That's fine. I get that.
What do you mean Will? Like Will, my arch nemesis?
Will. Yes, arch nemesis. Yes, the guy who has tried to run you out of town for 4 years. But he said it, and I understand, and I'm with all you guys. If the new GM comes in and goes, okay, I will give him 1 year, fine. But if that new GM comes in here and says, listen, John, this is what I want to do, and I'm laying out this plan right now. I got these 3 list of candidates on the head coaching list right here, right now. This is what I want to do. This is what I think a quarterback, boom, boom, boom. You have to do it. You have to let him take over all operations. The Giants are one of, I don't know how many teams, Tynes, maybe you can tell me, Lawrence Tynes, I'm sorry, I keep calling you Tynes like an asshole.
That's fine.
But
I don't care.
I don't know how many NFL teams have president of football operations, but the Giants don't. I think a president of football operations could absolutely help this team. They have been in shambles for how long because the owner is dictating who the GM is and then what the GM does. I think maybe if there's a little bit more of a structure, and if there's not going to be, then give the GM full reins to do what he wants. You cannot handicap a new GM coming into this absolute complete dumpster fire.
It's the New York Giants. They don't.
What we did last time. Can't do it again. Can't do it again.
Yes, we cannot do this again. We need an extensive search. And imagine. So, I know, man. I
want to ask Tynes this question. Do you believe or do you trust that John Mara will go outside of his comfort zone to hire the next GM?
Yeah, John Mara caves to public pressure a lot. He really does. I mean, look at the McAdoo. Look at the McAdoo thing. I mean,
what have I been saying, guys?
So yeah, I think he will, because I think he realizes, where the fan base is, the people that pay to come to the stadium.
See, I have a problem with that though too. Is have a
why
plan.
Does it take that? Why does
have
it
a plan? No, have a plan and stick to it. You can't be catering to the fan base because the fan base changes their opinion like they change their underwear. So have an opinion, have a football blueprint on how you want to develop your franchise and stick to it. You can't be changing.
Well, I think he's tried to stay in house, right? And then he realizes this is not working.
That I'm okay with. But
and I think it's public perception, plus it's also him saying, "Holy shit, we sucked the last decade. I need to change something.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I need to change something. So." I really do think they will go outside the organization and to find a guy. I mean, there's a lot of good candidates, right?
Right.
But how swiftly they do that, I don't know. I hope they don't drag their feet because, I don't know when Dave's last day is. When is it, Dave? Next Saturday.
The key card still works. So I would assume probably that Monday after the Washington football.
And then the one thing I'm glad we didn't talk about, I got to go, but the Russ Wilson thing, like I get it. It's cool. I think he does make you better, but I'd almost rather be a little bit shittier next year and have those young players and not the quarterback. Although the quarterback's enticing because you think he would instantly make this team.
He changes everything. He makes the offensive line, the receivers, everything better.
Yeah.
So, to my knowledge, I never stepped on an NFL football field like you did. But
where are you guys at? I want the draft picks.
I want the draft picks too. Take the offensive lineman, build a wall for the next quarterback.
Give me Neal and give me that Iowa center.
Linderbaum.
Yeah, I love it. LT and Mara on the same page. Two linemen, man. I'm with you.
I'm 65-35 wanting those two guys, unless like Thibodeau or Hutchinson falls as a good rusher.
Yeah, but the good thing is those three tackles are pretty good.
They're very good,
right?
The
NC State kid.
And all right. Last question, because Lawrence, I know you have to leave, but You're in locker rooms. You know the NFL better than us assholes do. I'm not wrong, but like Linderbaum is apparently he's a generational center, and people say taking a center top 10 is way too early. To me, as like an outsider that I look at it, I remember when Travis Frederick for the Cowboys went out, their offensive line went to absolute shit.
Yeah,
Sean O'Hara, I know, was the leader, even as a free agent signing coming in, was the leader of that offensive line. Or so I think perception-wise, they're like the quarterback of the offensive line. You get an all-pro center, I think that does wonders. It's like people saying you can't draft Quentin Nelson at 2, and he's the best guard in football. I would be okay if we're at the 9th pick and we take a center.
When did Nelson go? Was he the 2nd pick?
No, he was the 6th pick. But I'm saying like people were saying like you can't
but centers
guard at 2.
Offensive linemen traditionally are the smartest guys on the field.
Right. And I would think center is
Wonderlic test and all that stuff. But like, no, not me. But traditionally, I would. And listen, I think you take if he's the guy you need, and you see him as a generational 10, 12-year plug and play center, then you take him because those guys make every single call. Kelsey makes it. Sean O'Hara made it. Jeff Saturday made it. You go down the list. Casey Wigman, I played with him in Kansas City. He's played 17 years at center. I mean, those guys are – if you can get a guy like him and you think he's the guy, you take him in the top 10. Hell, you take him wherever you want him.
Right. They're invaluable.
They're invaluable because, I mean, I don't care. It's hard to find a 10-year starter, right? Let's just – if you can get them at 2, 1, whatever, you get that guy. So I like that kid. I mean – if they get one of the defensive ends, then they have a decision to make. Are they going to go tackle? I think they would.
Yeah.
But what if the center's sitting there?
See, for me personally, I like the idea of drafting Eichmann, a kid out of NC State, and then taking Evan Neal.
I love the kid.
But I'm saying, what if one of the pass rushers drops to them at the first pick?
Yeah, Hutchinson or Thibodeau, right? Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing with the next pick? You going center or tackle?
Tackle. Have to go tackle.
Because I hope to God what's his name can come back.
Gates. Yeah. Well, yeah. If we get good,
there's been no information on that.
Right.
So
yeah.
And Lemieux also is scheduled to come back. Also.
And then you got Wilson. So you've got some depth guys. I think if Wilson can stay out of a strip club this summer, winter.
He's partying in Brooklyn with
jumping off balconies at sorority parties. I'm like, what is this kid doing? But it seems like he's gotten his shit together. So. Sometimes.
Well, did you hear the comment today, Tynes?
No.
That Jordan Renan ex Rob Sale about Wilson, and he said next question.
Oh wow.
Well, so Rob Sale checked out.
Rob Sale needs to pack his shit up and
he's checked out. He's checked out.
Yeah, so apparently he asked him about.
Is he already taking that job?
Yeah, I heard he's taking the job.
It's official, but not right, Chris. Yeah,
that's what I heard. It's going to come out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, Tynes, I know you got to go real quick. Somebody asked, and I think we'll leave off on this because this isn't Snack Show. He doesn't get to ask the last question.
Sorry, MAJ.
Really cool story. Do you have one for us from your time playing?
Do I? Man, I have a million.
Any after
February 3rd?
I mean, to ask me to pick one out. I got all kind. I don't know. I mean, I'm bad with this stuff.
All right.
Like,
what about your favorite Eli story? Do you have? We know he's a.
Why does everybody want to know about Eli? Like he's not as cool as I am.
He's my favorite player.
We're obsessed with him, Tynes. We love Eli.
Who was your favorite?
Eli is so out there.
I got
yet so
to look at Eli's bare ass for 6 years, right here, like right next to my face. 6'5".
That's a pretty good story, I guess.
It's his bare ass right here.
Wait, hold on.
I'm on
I know
stole,
you don't
get
want
your,
me to...
and he got to back up into your side. Like, get your ass over there, bro.
Let me. What Eli's perception, I think, after he's retired, has been he was kind of like a jokester, a prankster. Was he like that with you guys a lot in the locker room?
I'm really glad he's doing what he's doing now post football because like you guys are getting to see everything we lived with because he's funny. He's a funny dude, man. I love that he's doing some. I would have never in a million years said he would do YouTube, Manning Cast. Like I just never in a million years thought that's the route he would go. Twitter, I helped with that. Me and Sean O'Hara got him on that.
Did you get? Yeah.
But I think it's cool because people really get to see the guy you all heard about. Because he was very, I think it served him well how he handled press conferences, wins, losses. And Daniel does the same kind of things, and I've heard the same about Daniel. People love him in that locker room. That's why those guys, have his back all the time. Hopefully he can play like Eli at some point. But yeah, Eli is he's 1 in a million, man. He's the toughest dude I've ever met. He played with so much shit. So many injuries.
That 49ers game, I still get goosebumps watching it back.
Oh yeah.
I still, like a ragdoll.
Chris, you took the words out of my mouth, and then I'll just go to when he didn't he dislocate his shoulder in Dallas week 1 in 2007. He played the rest of the year, didn't miss a start.
We had him on our show, and he had a plantar fascia one year, and if you guys have ever I have no idea how he played with that. Now this was when you could get Toradol shots. You could get Toradol shots, which vitamin T is magic. I don't know why. I used to get in line because I wanted to be tough and just take a Toradol shot. Because if I had any kind of nagging soreness, I wouldn't feel anything until Tuesday. So I used to get in line with all the guys just because I'm like, yeah, I'm a football player.
I'm a kicker. I have one last.
Don't tell Chris Canty that.
I have one.
I'm gonna bust Chris Canty's ass.
You should.
Maj, I'm sorry. I know I will not ask the last question. You can. I promise.
Please remove Snacks from the show. Go ahead, Snacks.
Yeah, let's mute. Go ahead, Snacks.
I'm sorry.
Snacks likes my producer at Blue Rush.
I do. Yeah. Do you think she'd say? Do you think she'd say yes if I asked her to Giants game? I got an extra ticket.
That's on you. You got to hit her.
All right. Fine. I'll put in a good word for me. All right. Now I got a question. So last one. It's a good one. So Steve Weatherford picked up Zach DiBiase's miserable snap in San Francisco in the NFC.
It was just low. Zach's one of my best friends.
Okay, all right. I'm not
low snap. Miserable is a very strong.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Miserable is Trey Junkin.
You're botching it.
Trey Junkin is
don't say Trey Junkin.
Do not say Zach DiBiase and miserable.
Don't say Trey Junkin. All right. I want to ask what Steve Weatherford's like, because he's out
there, bro.
He's out there, man.
He's
he seems like
That's
a good
my guy.
guy.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love all kinds of people, but he is. Yeah, he's doing the spiritual world now. He's blessing. He's doing baptisms.
Always one of my favorites, and I always
dunking his children in holy water. And
but a football team needs guys like that, don't they?
Man, he was a machine.
Absolutely.
He was a machine. He's built wild. Wow.
Would you put your abs next to his?
Hell no. No way. He was a machine, man. He worked at that, though. He really worked his butt off every day. So, but he's different. Steve's different.
All right, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tynes. This was so much fun.
We said, 10 minutes to come on. We wanted to give flowers to some of the, you're not only part of the Giants Ring of Honor in our eyes, but
let's make that happen. I got to get up there.
You're a big part of Giants Twitter, man. You're very active on Giants
John
Twitter.
Mara listens to the fans. We can make it happen.
I'm talking. Your podcast is fantastic with Schwartz and the apparently good-looking producer, in which Snacks is apparently infatuated with. Where can everyone check that out, man? What's it called again? And
Blue Rush. It's called Blue Rush, Apple, Spotify. It's through the New York Post. So if you guys cruise the Post, you can click on the links there. Jake Brown's the host. I call him the Podfather. If you guys follow Jake, I mean, this dude, I don't know how he sleeps. He does Jets, Giants, Rangers, Islanders, Knicks, Nets, Mets, Yankees.
Wow.
Well,
he's the producer for all those New York Post podcasts. That's why
tell him if he wants anybody angry about the Knicks to.
That's why I call him the Podfather. That's insane. So he's year round, just doing shows, getting guests, producing. So we got a great crew. Sarah McCrory, that's Nikki Snacks' girl, and Pauly Schwartz. I feel like I've loosened Pauly up a little bit. You guys got the.
He is a little bit.
That's a great point. Pauly is really
loosened up, huh?
Go, yeah.
Good, yeah. Because I was like, because I've known him differently than what his stories are. So I told him, we talk all the time, but he's got a really good personality and he's funny. So he's showing that more this year, which I think is cool. And he's a great writer. I mean, he's been covering the Giants for 25 years, man. So
he's got the pulse of it.
Yeah, he's in tune, man. He knows a lot. He knows a lot more than I do. He's got his sources, right? You got sources. When you've been writing that long, you've got deep.
He wrote a good article today. He wrote the good article today on the Post about the they may potentially at least consider moving on from Joe Judge. It was a good article.
Yeah, I mean he's embedded. He's got, and he Yeah, he's good at what he does.
I just want to say before you leave, it was a pleasure getting to talk to you.
Yep.
You gave me some of the greatest memories of my life as a New York Giants fan. I absolutely love this team to death, and hopefully, I get to do something with you again in the future, man.
Yeah,
had an
we'll
absolute
do it. I'm gonna show my hat off again one more time.
Giants great again.
Let's do it.
I love it.
That's where we're at right now.
I love it when former fans or former players are just
again, LT. Show it again.
Fans.
Oh
boy.
Which charity do I got to donate to?
I don't know, but we all need one.
Yeah, we do.
I made them at some stupid. What's this called? I don't know. Look where I ordered them from. Customized girl.
It worked. It worked.
All right. Are either one of those helmets the helmet that you wore?
Yeah, they're both. Yeah.
That's just awesome. I mean, look.
You remember the Sean Taylor?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what's cool about this is we were the only team that continued wearing this all season.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. The whole NFC East did. Remember?
Yeah.
So
I do remember that.
We took Sean with us on the ride. Great player. And
those are all the old school. Now it's like Revolution. What they got, MAJ? What they got?
And then, that's XLVI.
That's awesome.
So
and then everybody that's won a Super Bowl has got a gold ball, right?
Yes. So they sent us that for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I should have got 2 of them. But I don't even know if this is the real helmet because I think the Skibas might have sold mine.
Oh no!
Well, I'm 100% Italian, and where I come from, man, you're a MAJ guy. You're a MAJ guy for life around these. Giants.
You too, Dave? Huh? You too?
Yeah, man. I just got those. Just got them. They're not like there's a dude up in Massachusetts underground. He makes them because you're not allowed to make Lombardi trophies, and they're here.
Hold on.
Oh shit!
Oh, that sounds heavy.
Don't drop that. Don't drop that.
So look how authentic that is.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is beautiful.
Shit, yeah.
That is awesome.
It's real.
Don't let Grunk hold it, will you?
We see him, Lawrence, but we don't really see him because he's not supposed to make them, right?
Right. So there's this dude, and because they sell a 1/3 replica, Tiffany's does, but it's only like if you put it next to this, it's like this big.
Yeah.
$20,000 at Tiffany.
Jesus.
Wow. And I'm assuming that's the name tag that you had in your locker. Is that it right there?
Oh, from the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's just awesome. Oh, that's just great.
And then some dude sent me that LT Kicks license plate. He had that on his car in New York. Wow. So I said, I'll take that. But these were 1/10 that price to have them made.
Damn.
Wow.
So everyone's got them, like Brady, Gronk, all the people that they know who this guy is. He's like, he will never be named. The NFL would come find him.
I think what we do is we sneak into MetLife Stadium and we swap those out for the real ones. What do you think?
Let's do that.
I'm down.
Those things are so damn dusty right now.
Rex Ryan's not there anymore. Rex Ryan's not there anymore, so we can't hide him. So
with the I've got all kinds of cool shit. I got a bat. Look at this bat.
I'm really into stuff. Stuff like this.
I got a bat.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I've got.
Wow! Holy shit, that is good.
Do you have do you have the cleats you wore that and you played the Super Bowl with all that stuff?
I've got the ball from both NFC Championship games that I kicked.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna auction those off when I go broke.
Well, Lawrence, we're we've been following each other, and just for my closing statements, what I'm going to say is you really helped the Dave Gettleman Parody account grow. Because you were one of the first former players. Carl Banks has and Deal, but you were one of the first ones to champion it. I had like 900 followers, and you retweeted the account.
Man, I loved it. It's so amazing. The face, like I'm looking at it right now, it's like perfect. The Gettleman face. And I saw you sell swag. That's probably going to go out of business soon.
I mean, I really am not doing that for money, Lawrence. Just more so because I'm a I'm an entrepreneur and a creative guy, so I just said, you know what?
It's amazing.
It's made per order. I'm not sitting on a box of Gettleman merchandise.
Okay. Like I'm sitting on a box of Make the Giants Great Again hats.
Well, yeah, I'd buy one of those.
I started slow though. I only started with 5. So
hey.
I would 100% wear that.
Man.
I would wear that, Lawrence.
Yeah. Where are we getting you on Twitter again?
LT4Kicks.
Awesome, man.
I'm gonna go watch some Succession, see what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah,
hey, Lawrence, personally, I just want to thank you. I think a lot of people, you are a hero and you're an idol to a lot of people, a lot of grown men even. So cool. I just want to say thank you, because it's when you're around certain football players, you get to actually talk to them and you realize they're people too. And this conversation has been so enjoyable. So I really want to thank you for coming on, kicking it with us commoners. But I mean, thank you so much. This has been
I appreciate you saying that.
A really exciting time. So
I was a blue collar guy, man. Undrafted, no scholarship. So I earned everything I got. And you guys are the greatest fans in the world. So
thank you, Tynes.
That's what it's all about. We're going to be back. Like Michael said, we'll be back. And it's going to be a fucking party too.
Let's go. Absolutely, man.
Yes, hopefully we're all there. We'll all be there at some point. I don't know when. I take solace in the fact that the Bengals were 4-11-1 last year. Just saying.
Yeah, it could happen quick. It could happen quick. Just get the right guys in
here. Joey Burrow's pretty good though.
He's a special dude. Everybody, we're gonna wrap it up tonight.
All right. Happy New Year.
Thanks. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Next month. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Don't get COVID. And we love you guys and appreciate all your time. So with that, I bid you adieu.
Thanks, guys.